okay.
Hello, hello. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Gamertag VR. How you doing, guys? You all right? You all good? Thank you for joining us. Look at them eyebrows. Do you remember that Cadbury's advert?
That was wicked, wasn't it?
That was wicked. There was a Cadbury's advert where the kid's eyebrows danced to music, and that's what Dane just did. So thank you, everyone, for being here first in the chat. Let's have a look. We need to thank you all for being here. Yo, bro, how you doing? Thomas Love, nice. Spirit Realm, Boy Brown. Thank you ever so much. TGK, Chris Richardson. We just mentioned that something about. Oh, cheers, Mick. Thank you. Cheers, man. I've hit 7K, but I don't want to talk about it yet because it gets well past that, just in case. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm chancing fate, like celebrating anything like that. JD Max, how you doing, man? Secrets of. Nice. Monkified. Did we say hello, TGK? Hand for the win. How you doing? VR Candy. Nice. Hello, Joseph.
People.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Right, so this is episode 38 of the VR Link. Please allow me to introduce my co-host. We've got Salsa from Salsa Ketchup VR. Is he talk? Can he hear? Are you talking, Salsa? Sorry, mate. Is his mic on?
My mic was muted. Hello,
man.
people.
Excellent stuff. Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming.
Hi, guys.
And Dane from Get to the Chopper VR.
Howdy, strangers.
My name's GT, and this is your weekly Sunday VR podcast that gives you and us a chance to discuss some of the latest news and games in virtuality. You can also listen again to the VR Link as a podcast on Anchor and Spotify. I would like to thank the amazing patrons and channel members of the channel, whose names are listed below. And if you're looking for ways to support this channel, please check the links in the description. And while you're there, please consider joining our community Discord. In today's show, we'll be talking about Half-Life Alyx, obviously, Oculus Store rejections, 2 new games coming to PlayStation VR, 3D rudder for the Oculus Quest, and more. So, yeah, hopefully that's something you'll all enjoy. But before we get started, guys, I've got to flip over to a trailer I picked up earlier today. I just need to make sure I've got it ready, which I probably haven't, knowing me. Where is it? I found this trailer today of an indie game coming out, and it instantly excited me. So yeah, we're just going to transition to that right now. No, we're not, because that's a 720p. I've got to try and change it. Hold on, why it's going. So cool. See that one? How cool does that look? I think that looks absolutely wicked, man.
Sharks with freaking laser beams.
It looks so good. It looks so funny.
Yeah, your hideout is well and truly taken care of when you've got sharks with laser beams.
It looks so good. And I messaged the developer to quickly just ask him, like the idea behind the game, because instantly, like, I thought, wow, this looks fantastic. I'm so pleased to mute you, Mike. He said the best way to describe Sharks of Mars is a cross between Duke Nukem and Space Quest. It's an adventure puzzle shooter with a sense of humour. Sharks of Mars Prologue is the first of what will be a series releasing on the Oculus Rift and S, and obviously you can use the Quest link. Then other headsets via Steam. Our goal is to also have a standalone Quest release at a later date. So yeah, it just looked pretty awesome. I thought it looked pretty awesome anyway.
I did.
Yeah, because what do you think of that?
I'm still trying to process it.
Yeah, it is one of those. First time you see it is like, okay.
It looks cool.
Yeah, okay.
I think it looks cool.
How is the shark swimming in midair on Mars?
It's obvious, dude.
Why did we not spot them before?
Don't ask this question, Salsa. Sharknado exists. Therefore, there
Sharknado...
is precedent for this.
Okay, there is a precedent for this. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. But that's...
You are right, sir. You are right, sir. I should suspend all disbelief.
That is like
at least 5 documentaries on that Sharknado phenomenon.
Sharknado, was that was meant to come out on PlayStation, wasn't it?
At some point, it still is, yeah.
And it still is.
It seems like it's been relocated to Mars.
Yes, I actually think it looks pretty decent. It is a game actually I want to play because it looks stupid. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind a game.
I'm playing that day one.
Yeah.
Day one, I'm playing Shark on Mars.
And it's got sharks. Do you know what I mean? No, so what's everyone been playing in the chat? Thank you for joining us. Salsa, what have you been up to this week, mate?
Well, I went off to VR arcade in Milton Keynes called Rush VR with Buck3131, Dr. Oculus, and Brady Boy Blue, and we played Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh, cool.
Which is an escape room, which was Lost Pyramid, and that was awesome.
That sounds good.
Really, really cool to actually be in the Assassin's Creed kind of universe in Egypt. The visuals were brilliant. It's a teamwork game, so you either play like 4 players or 2 players. There's a Greek version as well. If you do go to Rush VR, then you can try and beat our 4-man score, which was just over 25 minutes. Now, most takes up to about an hour or just under an hour.
Yeah, but you guys are gaming geeks. You're going to get in there, and you're VR pros. You're going to go.
Oh, we smashed it.
Flobbity flop flop.
Smashed it.
That's it.
Boom.
The other thing there, of course, is they had some really good stuff. So I tried out the Vive Index as well, which was really cool. Pistol Whip and Beat Saber. Valve Index, excuse me. I keep on doing that with. It's the it's really
What's that about? It reminds me of Penfold from Danger Mouse. It reminds me of... he does stuff like that.
It's the glasses.
It is.
But yeah,
if he ain't on this show one week, I'm going to put Penfold in that picture. I've decided.
The Valve Index. So we tried that at 120 FPS.
Yes.
As well. So Beat Saber and Pistol Whipped at 120 FPS. And it's just shockingly smooth. It's really, really good. I do want to try a racing sim at 120 FPS. That would be...
So someone I know, VR Reckoner, he's been like, he was really in the VR thing for ages. Yeah, I'm always doing podcasts and stuff. Really nice guy, and I always follow him on his tweets and stuff. And he's been playing like his Quest and stuff. But he said how amazing it was to go from the Quest. Not that he's saying the Quest is bad, but to jump to the Index and have that. He mentioned the 120 frames, you know, and he was like, it's cool.
It's very ideal. It does the same sort of trick as what PSVR can do as well.
Buck's saying 144, but I think it's a choice, isn't it? You can choose.
You can choose 144, but 144 is a bit dodgy. It's experimental. So we all know how frame redoubling works. It does the whole PlayStation VR does 60 to 120, and on Oculus would do 90 or 45, and Vive would do 90 or 45. This can also do 60 reprojected to 120 or 120 native and all those sort of things. So works out really well. But anyhow, moving on from that, it was really, really cool. And of course, we'll be talking about that you can buy tomorrow. The Valve Index even.
Hey, don't worry about it, honestly, it's fine.
The other thing I've been playing is 11-11. Or
table tennis.
Should I say? No, 11-11.
Oh, sorry. What's that then?
Which is like a sci-fi narrative adventure. And you can watch it 6 different stories. Well, the same slot of time from 6 different perspectives, or whichever perspective you like around it. So it's like 6 different narratives that all run parallel towards the end of a world. And there is only 11 minutes and 11 seconds left.
It's on the PSVR as well, isn't it? What did you play it on?
On PC. I didn't know. Is it on the PSVR as well? 11-11.
It dropped out of nowhere. It was another one of those releases that wasn't announced.
Oh, cool.
And it just suddenly popped up. I never played it myself.
How much was it? Does anyone know?
I think it was pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's like about 15 quid, or if you're on Viveport, it's free on there.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a bit over an hour. You can go back, rewind time, move anywhere you like, change your size, and all sorts of things like that.
Sounds
Hench
good.
mode.
Hench mode.
Actually, it's goddess mode in it. It says it on the little thing. It says goddess mode.
Goddess mode.
Yeah, so you can go over and you see the whole thing laid out below you, like you are.
Turn into a massive,
Apparently
powerful woman. Sounds
yeah.
good. Sounds good.
Dreams come
Nat
true.
would love that, I reckon.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I recommend it. I definitely think it's worth a look in, especially if you're on Viveport, then it's free, so you may as well try it. If it's on PSVR, it's about an hour's worth. So if it's on sale, definitely get it, because it's nice to sit back, watch some animation, see a little bit of a storyline now and again.
Yeah, cool, man. So, Nat, what have you been up to this week, my friend?
Well, I finally actually got OBS to work again yesterday. I've had an absolute mare with OBS for a couple of weeks now. That's why I haven't been broadcasting anything. I've not played any VR. There's 3 things I've pretty much been playing this week. The first one is the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo.
Dude, how good is that?
Yeah.
Valid excuse not to play VR.
I never actually played the original Final Fantasy VII. I played the initial bit and I just didn't get on with it. It drove me up the wall the bit where you'd just be walking along and suddenly you were in a battle. I just couldn't get my head around that. But the remake, I absolutely love. Cannot wait for the game now.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be playing that. The other things that I've been playing because of the Half-Life Alyx trailers, which we'll get onto later, is I've been trying to play Half-Life. Just the PC version, but I really cannot get my head around WASD. It is doing my fingers in. It's crunching me up. So I've actually
it takes practice.
Predominantly been playing Half-Life 2. I didn't complete Half-Life 2. I only played about maybe a fifth of it when I originally had it, and I never ever went back to it. But obviously, I've now got a reason to go back to Half-Life 2.
Right.
So,
out of interest, now, why didn't you try Half-Life 1 in VR with your Quest?
I got no idea how to do things like that, and I just wanted to play the game normally. So I've played a little bit of Half-Life because I've got the orange box on PS3, and admittedly, it's the worst version of Half-Life 2 out there. But it's a controller version, so I was able to play it and enjoy it, apart from obviously the technical issues that the PS3 had with that particular game. But
Right.
I've been really enjoying the game. Yeah, I say it still stands up to a lot of FPS stories now. The only thing that I'm a little bit disappointed in that game with is from a game design perspective, there's certain parts in the game where it just throws enemies at you, and I've always felt that's really lazy on a game design perspective. That okay, we can't think of anything clever or interesting to do, so we're just going to send as many enemies as possible at you to get you effing and blinding and stuff. But apart from that, yeah, it's been everything I expected it to be, and obviously my hype for Half-Life Alyx has grown exponentially.
Yeah, I can't wait for us to talk about that gameplay. So, get to the chopper. What have you been up to this week, man?
After my neck has now pretty much recovered, I played Separation, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit more detail later on PSVR. And I played, what else did I play? You know what? I can't even remember what I bloody played now. Played a bit of Red Matter on the Oculus Quest, which is a bit annoying because I was trying to record something and I didn't press record. I played a little bit of Iron Lights as well, and that is really, really good on the Oculus Quest. I'm looking forward to that coming out, to be fair. It's a pretty solid game. That was pretty much it for VR. I got 11 table tennis, but I haven't checked that out yet because I'm hearing that is pretty solid as well.
It's very clever the way they've done the combat in Iron Lights, the way they've addressed it, because when I spoke to the developer, you can just twitch away for a fight in VR, for example, but with this you can't. And there's its own system of taking turns, isn't there? And energy bars, and there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics to it that give it a lot of depth.
Yeah.
And I think when I first played it, I was awful at it. And the second time I played it, it wasn't too bad. But then I thought, and I did the first fight, which was like the tutorial, and I was like, yeah, breeze through that. And I went, I'm going for a hard fight. And I got mullered because, again, you need to have some tactics. You need to have a little bit of skill in it,
Yeah.
which is where it comes in. It reminds me of it's not really very similar, but it reminds me of Bushido Blade. It's old school PS1 game.
Yeah, I know what that is.
And it's, you know, if you get attacked, you're going to get bullet kind of thing.
That was
and that's
great,
very similar to this. If you're not paying attention and you're not playing tactically or strategically, you will lose. And there's tons of leaderboards and all sorts in it. So I think it's got some legs to that game. So I'm interested to see how that stands up when it comes out.
So Eileen Cara says, Highlight says no chat. If you're part of Discord and you're playing it and you're near a PC and stuff, what you can do is use Discord, or you can use your mobile phone through our Discord chat. We've got voice channels there where 2 people can join, put it on loudspeaker, and you're laughing. So that's part of the reason those channels are there, for people who don't have voice chats in games. A lot of people use Discord actually because it can be a better quality than some game channels. So yeah, what have I been playing? Let's have a quick look. I just want to check my channel because I'm not too sure at the moment. I've done some Hell Split Arena last night. Was going to be doing some Forest VR, but it kind of got put on hold because the people who said they were going to be there couldn't make it. Then I've done the updated version of Dash Dash World, which I think is at the moment the best kart racer in virtuality. I'm just going to say it out because a lot of people tell me about touring karts and stuff, and I get that. I like touring karts. I do actually like it. There's no two ways about it. Mini Motor Racing X seems to be something of its own, a little bit. I tend to think of that as something else. But yeah, to me, Dash Dash has got all the elements that I like in a kart game. It's got, like, if you hold down the accelerator too long, your car will like explode, for example, the engine overheat and you get a slow start, or if you time it right, you get a boost. You've got the boost on the ground, you've got the power-ups. You've got the double power-ups, actually. If you get the double boxes, look kind of like Double Dash on GameCube. Little things like that, and it's still a work in progress. They've got 5 levels, interactive levels, some of them as well. Like if you go in the right colour slushy at the right time, it gives you a speed boost or you slow down. I think it's really good.
I didn't get to play the additional level. I've still only got 4 levels for whatever reason. Mine did apparently update, but it didn't update to one with the extra level.
Yeah, so they basically sent me an email and said the version I'm on is a beta version. Yeah, which updates.
Yeah, I'm on a beta version as well. It's all beta.
Yeah, so the one I'm on now is the press version. And a press version apparently updates before the beta version. So you get the press version, you get to test it out, give feedback, and then the beta gets updated, which is something I've never heard of before. A beta is a beta as far as I knew. So I've never seen that before. So yeah, they updated me to do that particular video at the time, I think, just to show that level. Checked out
cool.
Quake VR mod, and that was absolutely fantastic. If mods keep going like that, we're in for something really special, because it actually added melee to it. It wasn't just a case of the gun was on your face, the gun was in your hand, and this hand you could also punch them in the game. So it felt like a real virtuality game, you know, like it was made for VR. If you want to, definitely, if you get a chance, check that out. Done a tour with Jurgen Virtual of the Half-Life Alyx Steam homes. Absolutely fantastic. Loved them. They were brilliant. Did any of you guys get to jump in there and check them out?
No, you need to have the Valve Index.
No, you need Valve Index.
Well, there is a way around it, apparently. And Paradise Decay made a video on it, that there is some files you can mess around with, and then you can use any headset to get in there, apparently. Or
well,
maybe
they're going to release it once Alyx comes out. They already said, I can't remember who said it, but somebody turned around and said that that Valve are going to release the environments to everybody when Half-Life Alyx comes out. These ones at the moment that are out are specifically for Valve Index customers.
Excellent.
But if you've got somebody who's got a Valve Index, they can invite you into it, and then you can explore together.
So someone in the chat said about, that is true, you can. If you go into your SteamVR homes, you can just jump in anyone's who's hosting those levels. But I found if you have more than 8 people in a lobby, that's it. It's slow as anything. You can't really move properly. You can't really teleport around the levels.
Well, they were really good looking, basically, weren't they? They don't have the same amount of interaction as Half-Life Alyx is going to have. Apparently, well, you could tell us on that one, but they are apparently looking pretty damn good.
They're beautiful.
From all that I've seen.
They're really good. And the Russell's Lab, out of the 2, even though the City 17 one's probably the one where you sort of open mouth a bit more because you're out in the city where you know those streets and you can see the Citadel and stuff, and it's like, wow, that is absolutely fantastic. But when you get into Russell's lab, that's when you see the details, and you go in the fridge and you can interact, and there's a bloody head crab wrapped up like a chicken in the fridge, and it says "Do not eat."
Do not eat.
Yeah,
the sticker. That is class. That is.
And the best thing was, is that what I was doing was stepping out of the safety area of the game, so you could visit parts that you probably shouldn't get access to, which was really cool as well, having a walk round, kind of like when you go back to your glitching days. And then checked out Pavlov VR, had a great time in that, some amazing levels on that bloody game, like absolutely incredible. South Park was a mind blow. South Park in Pavlov is incredible. And then I showed off my... Jesus, I can't believe I've done all this stuff. New retro arcade, Neon. Did that. Done like a temporary arcade pack. Went through loads of different games on there. That was pretty cool. I hope to get my arcade a bit better than that because I want to get Time Crisis in there. Checked out Separation, which we'll talk about a bit later. And then done a live stream of 10 minutes of Half-Life Alyx gameplay. And then we're back to where we need to be. So yeah, I've been off this week. That's why there's so many videos. I think I was getting a bit out of breath then. I was like, oh god, there's loads of crap going on.
You suddenly realised just how much you'd done.
Oh mate, it's crazy. So what's people been playing in the chat? What have we got, guys? Have you seen what people have been playing?
Let's see, Half-Life 1 on Quest, Thrill of Fight, Synth Riders.
We've got somebody actually asked about the VR mod. They're asking, can you put a link down, GT, for that?
Oh, I've got a video on it. Yeah.
Yeah, Monkeyfied was asking for the Half-Life VR mod.
Diz picked up Stormland last night.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh, Stormland. Still need to get back more into that. I think this week I've been trying out too much of the...
Tony's saying he's been playing Dreams. I assume he's been actually playing other people's dreams and not trying to create his own. I still can't get my head around that. So, but yeah, it's really good just playing other people's levels and stuff. It's just mind-blowing. Yeah, it's mind-blowing what people can do.
The creative juices that people are letting out into the world in the form of dreams.
Erupting all over the place.
Mate, Donkey Gamer, or Video Game... Oh, I keep saying bloody Donkey Gamer. Video Game Donkey's done 2 videos on dreams, and they are absolutely, like, proper... They're just so funny. There's one... Do you guys watch Video Game Donkey at all?
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah, he's a legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend. And there's one game in Dreams where you're like this Scottish guy who's got to get through the woods and he's chased by this ghost. Do you remember that? Do you remember the video? Oh, I was laughing.
Good, man.
It is bloody hilarious. You got to see it. You got to see that video, honestly. And me and my son must have rewound that so many times, that one bit where he's got to get through. And then he gets in a car and then drives back, smashes through the gate. Oh, serious. You got to see that.
It's good, man.
Yeah. So, did we go through the chat? Is everyone happy? Great time to play some Firewall.
Apparently, Robert Dodge was saying that if they're playing with Quest and they're doing the virtual desktop method, that it's not been playing nice with Stormlands. And then that's, of course, when you go, well, just plug the damn thing in then. Yeah,
but then they've got to get a cable, and if you're looking for a decent Oculus Quest cable, I have found one with GoQuest VR. It's $28. It's 5 meters long. It actually weighs less than the official link cable, and that is what I would recommend
is
you
it
get.
Still is it really rigid, or is it?
I'll try and grab it. Hold on, I'll try and get it for you. Because one thing I didn't do in the video was show that. Whoop!
Like magic. You came along for a podcast and you got magic. GT has suddenly disappeared from the scene, and is he going to appear as a floating head or something?
Do you know the crazy thing is, right? Is that I'm just a
floating head.
I'm a figment of everyone's imagination.
Floating head. We want to see it. Floating head.
You want to see a float?
Come on. You can do the float. There we go. Wow! Here we go.
Ah! So there is the cable. So this is the cable, and yeah, man, it's mega flexible. To be honest, like really flexible.
That's really cool. I am going to go back to this as well, and Robert Dodge in particular on there is the thing with the virtual desktop. I do have virtual desktop, but you need to go through a lot of extra steps to do that than just hooking in a cable. The other thing is you need to be on a 5 gigahertz network, which I'm not, because my modem I do different things with.
What do you do with it?
It's a gaming router, so it's just that I prefer the software on there because it controls my network better, but it doesn't have 5 gigahertz.
Well, there you go. Excellent. Hello, Mrs. GT. How are you? Durban Brown just ate pizza. Nice. How you doing? Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Scottish Gamer. Cheers, guys. Great Tantrum said he forgot about the show, but now he's here. Thanks. Just the Game Cat. How you doing? Nice. Silver. Dan Hardstaff. He bought Synth Riders on a whim. Can't stop playing. Yes. Love Synth Riders. The soundtrack for that game is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Another thing in Synth Riders is a song called Vampire Vania. And if you're a fan of Castlevania, that song is brilliant and you'll absolutely love it. But I've just finished season 3 on Netflix of Castlevania, and it was absolutely brilliant. Do any of you guys watch that? You seen it at all?
So I haven't caught. I've got to catch up to the new one. I've been watching Sabrina and the what's the sci-fi Carbon, yeah, old Carbon.
Nice.
So been catching up on those. So have not caught up to Castlevania yet.
1 second. That is not where I wanted it to be. Get that
It's
there.
not where you want it to be. It was in a different place, was it?
Shimmy.
I know what I've done. I downloaded a 1080p. I think by accident. I know it's not by accident actually. I edited this at 1080p, and we're just going to have it running in the background. So let's talk about some Half-Life. Alyx, unless you've been hiding and trying not to see stuff, gameplay videos were released on IGN and Valve showing quite a good amount of footage. It showed us locomotion options between smooth and what they call transversal movement. Obviously, we just spoke about the environments and all the, as Nat said, index. Also, if you had the knuckles, apparently, if you had the knuckles, you could get in as well. So you didn't need necessarily the index headset. The guy
if you just bought the Valve index knuckles,
yeah, that's cool.
Well.
And and apparently it's going to be able to play the whole game entirely with one hand. I thought that was pretty cool, man. That is,
a bit of an accessibility option that they came up with. So basically, the amount of options they've got for moving around the environments and everything else like that is what you need for VR.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always said it. You know, well, and also well labelled. Don't go in there like a Borderlands VR and give it some names, and you're like, well, I know what I want to do, but I haven't got a clue what it's called. And then I wish I could go back to remember. Yeah, there were some funny names that come up.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. They're trying to be inventive about something that somebody's already described. So why have you tried to give it another name and someone's already described it? But hopefully we'll see how they do on this. But I do like how they're saying about the mechanics of these, like especially that grab mechanic. And it's sort of like apparently it'll be on your main grab control of whatever you use for your grab, and you just sort of like go boom.
Yeah.
And it's active on the grab command rather than going. It's that one.
That's a bit like it's weird. I think as much as it's not realistic, because it's not, is it? You don't put your hand out like the Force and just grab stuff in a game, but it makes sense in VR. And Blade and Sorcery was one of the games that I seem to remember it happening most. You know, you could put your hand in a certain area, pull the grip, and it shoots towards you, and it becomes second nature. It almost becomes part of the gameplay.
There is some that do it based on gaze, so they go, what's dead center of the gaze?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you've pushed and it's gone across. There's others that have kind of offset it to your hand a bit, and I don't know which way it goes on that. So it could be variable. Boneworks has the mechanic as well. There's a few games out there that do have the mechanic.
Yeah, that's right. Someone just said Boneworks. Absolutely, yeah. Like, it was just an example. The first game that I remember seeing it in was Blade and Sorcery. And not playing it, seeing it, I was like, that looks really cool. I checked out a game called Virtual Battlegrounds, and one of the things that I noticed it gets over, certain games have an issue knowing where your floor is. Yeah, for example, you can launch up Oculus, launch Steam Home, and your Guardian and your floor will be correct. But you go into the game, and suddenly that floor, and this is the worst case, is a little bit lower than your real floor. So when the gun or the ammo goes below your real floor, you're stuffed. You can't pick it up, and that's where this grab mechanic can overcome that situation. So yeah, like, it has got it in. Well, everything in that game seems to highlight yellow a little bit, but what you want is that certain amount of distance, and you can grab it towards you, and it just, I think it comes together. And I think one of the things, it's a game, isn't it? You're playing a game. You're not trying to make a real life experience. It's a virtuality game. So about the traversal thing, did you guys? I didn't even notice it when I watched the video. This traversal versus teleportation mechanic.
Yeah,
go on.
It's basically when you've done like a teleport, you have a straight blinking thing there.
Yeah.
With the traversal, what it means is they actually map the arc of where you're going to be. So you could go into, say, Skyrim VR, and you can teleport past certain puzzles.
Yes.
Like if you have blades swinging left and right.
Yeah.
You can just go teleport.
Blink. Yeah. Kind of a superpower. It's not just a movement. It's almost then turned into a superpower. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With this, you can't do that. If you do that, the game and all the AI characters know that you've actually walked through a space.
Yeah.
So they do the physical mapping of you walking through that space and everything else that's going around that. So you can't just blink and be somewhere.
Yeah.
It maps what's going to happen. So if you go and say, well, I know there's a bad guy there on that side, so I'm going to teleport, it's like, no, they're going to spot you anyway.
Yeah. So and I think that's a really smart idea, and it ticks all the boxes. So
yeah, keeps it more believable in terms like that.
So how hyped are we? Because Danish, I hate to point it out, man, you won't be playing this straight away, will you? Unfortunately.
I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to play this. Probably when the sequel comes out. To be fair, so.
Ooh, that could be a wait.
Yeah. He's going to win a PC. You watch.
Yeah. You know their aversion to the number 3.
Nice. Yeah, man. It must be. I don't know. I remember when I saw Half-Life 2, I literally went and bought a PC as soon as I could, and I probably borrowed the money. It wouldn't have. Well,
tomorrow is going to be crazy because there are going to be people with their especially if you've got multiple monitors, you're going to have like a browser open here, a browser open there, one open here, and you're going to be jamming between them, hitting F5 keys like a crazy man.
Like a crazy man. What about you, Nat? You hyped for this? Have you pre-ordered it?
Oh yeah, I've pre-ordered it. I've already bought it on Steam. It's going to be interesting to see when Steam actually launch it. I reckon it's going to be 6 p.m. our time that they'll go live with it, which I believe is 10 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go with a midnight.
It's funny you should bring that up because I was thinking about, do I book the day off or not? And I don't think I need to. Because
I've actually booked the week off. I've got the entire week. I've got
it's going to live in there.
I'm just going to buy it.
I don't know what's happening. I could be off of work. Well, I could be working from home. I don't know yet.
If you got the coronavirus, yeah, you'll be working from home.
If I got the coronavirus, I would be hoping from home. That's an urban legend. This doesn't do anything.
I mean, there's a lot of things I picked up on with the 3 videos. The first thing that I picked up on was the sound design.
Oh,
sounds absolutely amazing, especially the zombies. You kind of hear sort of like a howl because I'm playing. I like to say I'm playing Half-Life 2 now, but it does honestly feel like the person that's underneath the head crab is absolutely in pure agony.
Yeah.
it feels, like, you can feel the pain that person's in.
Yeah.
But you still want to kill the zombies anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the other two bits that I kind of got, and I actually was talking to Danish before the show started while you were having your dinner, and Salsa was doing whatever he was doing. I can't remember.
Making salsa, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe. But there was a couple of bits where I said these things can only happen in VR. It couldn't happen in a normal game.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to mind was that when I first watched the videos all the way through was in the third video that we're watching now, the combat video was the bit where he goes around the car and an enemy steps out and he grabs the car door and opens it and uses it as a shield.
Yeah.
You could have a mechanic, Chopper was saying, we were both saying, well, you can press a button in a normal flat game, but it was intuitive. It was just like, oh God, there's somebody in front of me, grab the door. Because you would do that. If somebody pulled the thing, you would look at, is there something that I can protect myself with, that I can shield myself with, and you just bring the door open. The second thing, and I only caught on this one the second time I watched it, was in the first video, where he grabs the bar that's blocking the door, the window, and grabs the bar, but he threw the bar at the zombie.
He did.
And I was like, big mistake, because I just held it, closed the doors, and put the bar straight back in just to block the door again.
Yeah, it'd be good.
That's what I was thinking on that one as well.
But there's all these little bits, and what you got to remember is we've only seen a few minutes of thing, and this is meant to be like a 12 to 15 hour game. So it's, what is going to be in there? What are they going to show us? Also, I did watch the IGN video that they put out with the developers.
Yeah.
Which is like an elongated version of the first video.
Tested have also done an interview.
Yeah.
As well. That's really good.
Yeah, that's why they came out saying about the one hand option.
Yeah.
Because literally the game's been done since December. They said the game has been done. Literally what they've been working on is accessibility options and bug fixes. That's the only thing they've been working on. Yeah, exactly.
That's why they've got to make it completely the right way then, isn't it? Because they're not they're taking their time to make sure this lands with as much possible impact and good press as possible.
Yeah.
Like I said, they haven't pushed out, they've gone, right, let's get this to a T. Like I said, the one-handed mode as well, all these unique things to bring in tons of new people.
Just
to
so
VR as well.
The thing is, there's no rush, is there? There's no rush. Like the world is waiting for them. It's not like they've got to do anything.
Well, the thing that I said again, I was talking with Danish because you did take quite a while to eat your dinner.
I tried not to.
It was nice. I bet you were swimming it down your throat. But
with that steak.
The one thing I said is, and this, to be honest, relates to 2020 as a whole. To me, 2020 and Half-Life Alyx is the line in the sand that VR's been waiting for. Literally, you're going to have, before you had a Half-Life Alyx and after you've had Half-Life Alyx.
Okay.
And what I've said is, I can't remember what was that game, Danish?
It'd be known as 2020 BHA kind of thing, like before Christ and after Christ.
There's a game that's been announced this week. I can't remember what it's called. Goliath, something or other.
Good Goliath, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And I turned around and I said, the problem you got with that game, it might be a good game, might be a fun game, but what you're going to find now after Half-Life Alyx drops and we get the quality that's there, is that's what people are going to be expecting. So you got Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond, you got Lone Echo 2. They're going to be at that top echelon. But the indie developers are only going to get by if they can come up with something unique and innovative. And something like that Good Goliath, it's like, I've seen it, I've played it, I've done that before. I don't really want to play it again. But something, and again, me and Danish talked about something like Pixel Ripped. Very innovative, very unique. And I think that's where a lot of these indie developers, they're going to have to put their, they're not going to get away with lazy games anymore because people aren't going to put up with it. If you want to do something, it's like Supermassive where they've done, and I know it's not VR, it's just normal game, but they did like Bastion, Transistor, Hades. They did these very unique games. That game company that did Flower and Journey, very unique. They could only be done by an indie because they wouldn't be done AAA. And I think that's where the indie side of VR they're just going to have to innovate and come up with something fresh and unique and interesting.
It's funny you should say that. A guy I follow on Road to VR put out there. He basically said, what did he say? Let me just quickly get it up. If anyone's got anything to say, Salsa, I do apologise. I thought about you had something to say, man. And you know,
no, I was just gonna say to Miss GT, but it's okay. We send text. It was just she was asking, I thought it was the 23rd, not tomorrow. What's tomorrow? And of course, it's the Valve Index that's coming up to buy again from tomorrow, which is what we was talking about there. So she got that and was just asking, do I have one? No, I don't. And unfortunately, I can't push the buy button at the moment because I'm trying to get money for a house together and stuff. So
it would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd love to have an Index at the moment.
It would, especially after trying one this week, because that, you know, the sound solution in that as well is really, really good. The sound stage of those headset is amazing. The view was amazing. And it was really cool to play that. Apparently, 144. I thought I only played 120, but apparently I was playing at 144 megahertz, which is pretty cool.
Really. Oh, what? Because you and Buck shared the same headset or something?
Yeah. There's 3 of them there, but yeah, it's really, really, really cool.
Yeah. So he basically said
one,
he I can't find it now, but he was basically saying like, does Half-Life Alyx kind of, he raises a bar to a point where, yeah, like you're saying a bit, Nat, others are going to have to pull their socks up to keep up in a way. And like, you know, and he was asking, is it a bad thing? Unfortunately, it will always happen. Someone will always come along and raise that bar, because that's how everything evolves. Everyone will play it, see it, and go, shit. What we thought was good isn't that good, and that's just the way it is. But I still think, like, for example, Sharks on Mars, yeah, that looks fun. Do you know what I mean? That's like a puzzle game, you shooting sharks. I'm sure that isn't technically amazing at all. I still think there is room for, as you said, innovative indie developers, but that's the point, isn't it? That's the point. They've got to be.
I don't think anybody's just going to buy games anymore where it's just like, I guess it'll be okay, especially if it's a game that we've seen and that we've done before.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, well, I can just go and get that older game. It's
See,
going to be cheaper.
I actually think Boneworks already did that for me a little bit. Boneworks raised my VR expectations because it added a lot of interactions that I've always wanted, you know, and one of the things that they mention in Half-Life Alyx is the Jesus Christ, that's loud. Did you hear that? Jesus Christ. How do I turn that down? That was on the desktop. I'm going to have to turn them off. Owen Wilson screaming in my ear hole. That's gone. I didn't even know that was on. Thank you, South Memphis.
Yeah. Great job, South Memphis. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I love Owen Wilson going, wow. God, I completely lost my train of thought then because it nearly made me deaf. That was so loud. Where was I? What was I saying before that? South Memphis, thank you ever so much for the donation. What was I saying? He was talking about being innovative. Yeah, he was talking about, like, I think in the game, the guy was saying, like, if you put your hand on a table in Half-Life, it won't go through it. Do you know what I mean? It'll sort of stop and stay where it is and things, and certain things like that. So
they're not doing the ghosting either. They're just doing.
That's it.
It's solid. It's there, and it's not moving through.
Yeah.
They're not doing a ghosting mechanic.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. And I think that adds to realism. And there was something else I was going to touch on while we're talking about realism. What was it? Oh, I played Scraper. Was it Gauntlet? Was the new one? I played it, and unfortunately, as soon as Nat started talking about innovative games, I was a bit like, yeah.
That's a regression.
I played it for like 45 minutes, really trying to like it. I found it quite boring. I started feeling a bit tired whilst playing it. And like, when the gameplay started, it just didn't feel good, you know. I don't know. And there were some cool things in it. The graphics are nice. the way the hands work and stuff. That's all good. Like the gauntlets on your hands, they are cool. But yeah, the gameplay is just not there for me personally.
It was too much on the different buttons all the time to swap across things.
Yeah.
While you're in the middle of a fight and stuff like that, it just doesn't have the Space Pirate Trainer. Just it works.
Yeah, Space Pirate Trainer was a weird one because it is, I guess, another wave shooter, but there was something exceptionally cool about it. And there was interactive parts in the level, but then I don't know. I don't know about Gauntlet. There was just something about it that just didn't inspire me at all.
Doesn't capture.
No,
MJ. If you haven't played much or many wave shooters, then maybe that's good for you. But I don't know. But not for me.
Yeah, I think this is the thing with PC VR and likes of Boneworks and Half-Life Alyx are pushing that bar higher, which is a good thing. It's just one of those things that kind of highlights that gap with PSVR. And then PSVR it's got some good games coming out. Obviously, we've got Iron Man coming out. Is that really going to be innovative? I don't necessarily think so, but I think it's going to be very, very good. Same as Sniper Elite's going to be very, very good. Utilize the aim controller well, but my interpretation of what's going on is everyone's waiting for PS5 and VR developers are kind of waiting for PS5. And this lull of this year, which we're already seeing with the games that are coming out, is some older ports from PC VR. They're just pushing it across to see, let's get some revenue from the PSVR market. There's not too much going on. So I'm wondering how that's going to affect things. Like come the end of the year when PSVR does come out, how's the land of VR going to be looking? Is PSVR going to be a bit too far behind? Are they going to be able to catch up? Because you've got Boneworks, you've got Asgard's Wrath, you've got Half-Life Alyx. What else is going to come for PC VR this year?
Yeah,
it's going to bridge that gap too far.
I still think PlayStation will sell a hell of a lot because it will be the doorway is more accessible than any other, because as we know, what is it, 110 million PlayStations are saying? I don't know what it is. What is the number now? I don't know. Does anyone know the number of PS4 sold?
I think it's 104 or 105 million.
So there's a lot of people there sitting there with potentially a PC ready machine, kind of. They're ready, VR ready machine. It's there. They've got it. They've bought it because they were going to buy it anyway. They haven't bought it for VR, but it's there, and they go, oh, hold on a minute, for another 400 quid, you got virtuality, and it almost feels like the PlayStation is the free bit. It's like, oh, that's all I've got to pay. It's 400 quid. And that was what we was talking about before, about the advantage that PlayStation had over PC VR, is that a lot of people had a PlayStation and already. This time is different, and it makes you question whether if you was buying a PS5 and a PSVR 2 at the same time, which I'd imagine in my head would be around minimal 900, I'm thinking.
Yep.
For the two, people might go, and then it comes down to exclusives, and there's such a mixed reaction to exclusives from comments on everyone's videos, pretty much. That are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing? I know everyone's got a different opinion on exclusives. I mean, what do you think in the chat about exclusive games? What do you guys think about exclusive games for platforms?
Well, it works, doesn't it? So
yeah. I think, unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast in that developers need to get money to build some of these projects. And when you have large companies like Sony or Facebook going, right, we will buy out studios, we will pay X amount of money to have exclusivity here to make sure that our products are going to sell based on something, that's where they come out with. They do generally end up as really good quality output, which is great for us, but it means that you would then become locked into an ecosystem.
So I see this. I know it's not an index exclusive, but there's definitely the opinion of if you want the best Half-Life Alyx experience, you get an index.
Well, it's the perception on that one is it's built by them. Their hardware, they are known for that. So people who didn't know immediately went, well, I've got to buy the index. And they go, no, you can use any other one. But they go, yeah, but they built the game. So, yeah, you you've got to buy the index, don't you?
Yeah, it's not so much the headset. I think it's the knuckles that are still the thing that I see. You know, as for me, I'd love to use them in certain games. As I said before, I haven't. So the game you witnessed at the arcade, the what was it called?
Assassin's Creed.
The Assassin's Creed one. Did
Mhm.
that make good use of the knuckles? Was you know?
That was Knuckles.
Oh,
That
it's
was
just
Knuckles.
you just played the headset.
That
Right.
yeah, that was they didn't use Knuckles at those stations, so that was using Vive Pros
Yeah.
because they've got four. That arcade that I was at has 3 index headsets,
Yeah.
which you can play whatever other games on. Then there are 2 other sets of, so they've got 8 Vive Pros, and they just have the Vive ones, the old school Vive ones with those. They're not using the knuckles on there.
So
It would be really great.
And did you say it was a location-based experience? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the all of the all of those are location based. You can't get that for your home. They don't sell it on Steam or anything else like that.
Yeah.
They just made it for the arcades. So it's a really good experience. Like I said, there's a 2-player version, 4-player version with Assassin's Creed, and there's a Egyptian-based one and a Greek-based one, and Prince of Persia is coming. I think it's out sometime maybe next month.
Great names, great names to get people in there. People are gonna want to experience that.
Can I just quickly say, I'm just off because I'm just seeing the video. There was actually a third thing, and I didn't say anything because I couldn't think what it was that Half-Life Alyx is going to bring to the party. And I think what you're going to have, because obviously we now know this is going to be the first Half-Life game where you've had a speaking protagonist, because we've never had that. Gordon Freeman, and there was always been the silent protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got an absolutely ton of voice work because I'm absolutely positive there's contextual voice in there. Like there's the bit that I've just seen was where she grabs the grenade off the hanging body, and as she drops it, she says, "Watch out down below."
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to grab that grenade. You don't have to drop it.
Yeah, that's true.
You can literally walk. So I think there's going to be a ton of contextual conversations. I think what the voice actress had to go through. It's like, well, is anybody going to do this? What about half the people are going to say this?
Yeah, that's
anyone
it.
going to actually do this? Well, about 5% of the people we reckon are going to do this.
Yeah.
It's going to be all these voice lines.
Yeah.
And literally, it might be a case that like 1% of the people actually hear that line.
That's the
of
thing,
dialogue.
isn't it? Like, because virtuality, once you go in a room, you don't know what people are going to do. All right, there's one door here and one door there. You've got a certain idea, but what happens in that room could be very different from one player to the next. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's good.
You know, you're talking like a 12 and 15-hour game. So, like I say, how much voice dialogue had to be?
Is that the gameplay
sorry
length?
to interrupt you, but
No. What?
I just noticed that. I just thought that was really cool. But even, you know, everything that you see about the game, it is a case of I now just want to play this game as much as possible. But I also, because again, like I said, I've been playing Half-Life 2, so I did the Ravenholm thing. I hadn't actually played that bit before. When I played Half-Life 2, I hadn't got that far, and obviously I'm trying to work my way through the entire Half-Life 2 experience, and I'm doing Ravenholm, and I was not expecting that, because that is literally a horror section.
Yeah.
So, what is going to be happening in this? Is because we've seen little snippets of trailers, and it definitely looks like there's going to be pure out and out terror horror sections. And as we know, horror, like Resident Evil 7 is paint color changing scary. So, that is an amazing game. And, that's really where PlayStation really nailed it from the outset. It had that. It had the very first, and for a very long time, the only AAA, what I would class as a AAA game for VR.
Yeah, and they still don't have that game on PC.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Someone
I
said
think
the
adding horror to Half-Life Alyx is a genius move because, like you're saying, horror in VR is so much more immersive, I think, than any other genre. You can't help contain that fear. You can't get over it.
Yeah.
When you've got things whispering behind your ear, you get 3D audio, and you've got things literally right in front of your face. It's so different.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be in such a shock, and that I think that's going to be a really big talking point about Half-Life Alyx for new VR players.
Did
Really
you?
do. I think they're going to be like, "Whoa, that was terrifying!" Now, that thing jumped on my face, all that sort of stuff. I think that's going to be a massive point.
Did you guys see the fan-made Silent Hill 2 VR trailer?
That looked amazing.
Yeah, it did. I didn't want to bring it up because I worry about hyping something that isn't going to happen. Because it would mean too much to me because I love Silent Hill 2 so much to hear that it was a possibility and now it's not. I'd rather not know. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather just leave it.
Capcom haven't made if Capcom
Konami
haven't made an announcement.
Konami, isn't it? Silent Hill.
Is it Konami? Sorry, I'm thinking of
Is
Resident Evil and Capcom. And...
No, yeah, Konami
Yeah.
is because Konami can't make games anymore. They're useless. So.
All right. So go back to the chat. When Dreams gets VR support, is from DJ984. Do you think it will sell headsets? I do think it will sell headsets. Because Dreams is getting huge on YouTube. As I said,
I don't think it will.
You don't think it'll sell any?
Or
more?
Think it might sell a couple, but I don't think it's going to be a massive push.
No, I don't think it'll be a massive push.
It's not going to sell VR headsets to the extent that Iron Man VR will sell PlayStation VR headsets.
No, yeah, I agree, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think it will.
Even more if they timed it last year somehow. Do you know what I mean? If they timed it in time with all the movies, they were almost a little bit late. They probably missed a massive marketing window. Obviously, like you can't help when it gets developed in the timeframes of that. But imagine if that came out right around the time of Endgame. That would have been insane. That would have flooded headsets. That would have been crazy.
Before Christmas, and the special Iron Man edition headset.
The thing is, I mean, I actually think it's actually most probably a pretty good thing that they are delaying it, because if you think about it, and I get your point, Danish, but I kind of see it in a different light, that I think actually launching it now is a really good thing, because people are starting to miss Iron Man. We know we're not going to get another Iron Man movie. We know Tony Stark, by the way, spoilers if you haven't seen Endgame, but by now you should have. It's the biggest film ever. He dies at the end of Endgame. We're not going to get any Tony Stark at the end of us. And it's like, we're kind of missing him. But we're going to get an option, just as we're looking. I'm not
You're going to get an option to be him.
Option to be Iron Man. Danish, have you actually played the demo?
No.
Okay,
going to be getting brand new.
Oh. So me, obviously, GT and Salsa have all played the demo.
Yeah.
That is actually very innovative in the way it actually works.
Yeah, the movement
and its movement and the way I still don't know how they're tracking the controllers, because you put the controllers down to move and kind of press the buttons to give yourself thrust and stuff. So it's very innovative. I said to GT when we did it that it's definitely going to be a game that is easy to learn but really hard to master.
Yeah, the movement system. But like what you're talking about there, in case people are wondering, is that you can actually end up hiding the move controllers, which happens now and again with PlayStation VR, and it still apparently knows what you're trying to do with them.
Yeah,
even though you've got the move controller hidden from the camera,
it
still knows what you're trying to do with it, which is really, really strange, because you play on a PlayStation VR and you're used to going, right, what direction am I facing? Which direction am I facing? And you see it in my live streams or GT's live streams sometimes, where we go, and we've lost our direction of where the camera is, and we go, which way is the camera? Which way is the camera?
Yeah.
And with this, it's going to happen all the time, because I've never had a moment with a PlayStation VR where I've stepped over my tether and continued to play like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And that happened with Iron Man.
It did. It did happen with Iron Man. It was when I done my video, I was being filmed and someone else was filming me. And it's clearly obvious that I'm facing completely the wrong way, and somehow it still knows where my hands are. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't explain it, but it became apparent that everyone experienced it when they saw themselves playing it back, going like, well, that's unusual because normally your tracking goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And if it did, my God, in Half-Life, I think a lot of people would be sick. Because if it did happen and you're flying, and all of a sudden your hands go like that, and there your jets.
Iron Man, not Half-Life.
Oh, what did I say?
He's got, you said Half-Life.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Iron Man. Sorry.
we've got these conversations coming on.
I was thinking about I was honestly, I knew you were talking about Iron Man. And I was thinking about Iron Man, but yeah, if that happened in Iron Man during flight, Christ, that would make people feel really ill.
Oh,
But
yeah.
It's a worrying thing, isn't it? Like, because VR development studios might be smaller, they might have less people than these bigger studios. There's financial, and then someone like Valve brings out something like this that is colossal. They're all gonna. It's a lot to look up to, isn't it? It's a lot.
It's a bit of the difference as well when you have like the Assassin's Creed. One of the things that hit me there is Ubisoft did a proper job on the visuals on the arcade experience of Assassin's Creed. It was like, oh my good God, this is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was well, it was good, jaw dropping, stunning.
Yeah. Nice, dude. Nice. So yeah,
I think Valve deserves as much credit as they get, because not only are they putting out what most people are assuming, and we still have to assume because we haven't played it, but it looks like this is like I say, is going to be the VR game, at least for quite a while. But they deserve a lot of credit to try and make sure that they have thought of as many people jumping into VR as possible.
yeah,
With the options, seated, standing, the movement options. You've got different types of movement options. You've got the one-handed, ability to play. So they've tried to make as many people as possible open to the world of VR, and added to the fact that they've made it compatible with pretty much every PC VR headset. In fact, they have made it compatible. Even things like Windows Mixed Reality, which most people don't even bother with, they've covered that. They've made sure that it works via Quest, via the Oculus Link, as well as obviously running through Oculus HTC Vive.
yeah.
I assume Cosmos it'll work with that, as well as the Valve Index.
I don't know if it'd matter if it didn't.
What one working with Vive Cosmos with
Half-Life Alyx, he said, I think.
Oh yeah, it will, but it's a Cosmos.
Who's going to have
it? Why would
it?
you want to?
The 5 people in the world that have got it, yeah.
Yeah, the 5 people in the world that have got the 5 different options.
So next up, we're going to talk about the Oculus Quest store and the rejected games or rejected developers, really, I guess, their work. This is from Upload. Facebook suggests rejected Quest devs should join Oculus Start, and the Crysis V Brigade developer enrolled in it. So that's quite interesting to see how it's going. So I think his name is Chris. What is his name? Chris someone. Over at Oculus, Chris Pruitt, I think his name is. He said, we designed Oculus Start and Launchpad to incubate and support devs, which is why we sometimes recommend it to concepts we've declined. These programs are made... So apparently there's 2 emails that go out. One that says no, and one that says it's possible. I think something like that. There's like 2 emails. These programs are made to nurture promising devs and to provide support and resources to grow their work. We also understand that many developers and enthusiasts are looking for easier ways to access and distribute applications outside of the Oculus Store, which is obviously they're talking about SideQuest. This is an area we're actively thinking about more to share soon. So then, I mean, if you read a bit more into this and the way it's going, it seems to me that an Upload seems to come to the same thing. There could be an early access app, for example, or an early access side store, yeah, on the Quest, potentially in the future. But isn't that now talking about the death of SideQuest? In a way, do you think they've like gone, yeah, we're buddies with SideQuest, but now they're like, hold on a minute, Crysis V Brigade had 72,000 downloads that should have been something to do with us.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't know if it's that. See, I just saw this as another dev start program.
Oh no, this
I
is
thought there
something
was
to get rid
something
of
else.
SideQuest.
You agree? I wasn't sure. I didn't know if you guys would agree.
They are. At the end of the day, let's be honest. It's Facebook. It's Oculus. It's a company, and they want to make money. They are seeing money, like To the Top will bring up as an example, because I think we can all agree, really good game. Would love to see it on the Oculus.
Which one's that? Sorry.
To the Top.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so To the Top, they put the game in, and that was after Oculus decided to change their rules as well, which must have been doubly frustrating for the developer. And they've looked at a way of, okay, is there any way that we can get our game to customers on Oculus? And SideQuest is an option. But how are they getting it onto SideQuest? They are selling it at $15 through Itch.io, and then you download it via SideQuest.
I don't think SideQuest make any money though, do they? Apparently,
SideQuest don't make any money, but I assume Itch.io do. But that's still $15. So Oculus are looking at it and saying, "Well, hold on a second. That developer's now selling their game for $15, and it's playing on our headset.
Yeah,
we're not getting any money out of that because I believe it's 30%. I believe is the standard amount that a store, whether it's Steam." Whether it's PlayStation, whether it's Xbox, I believe 30% is the standard.
There's some up and down.
Yeah, I think Epic Games take less, but on average it's 30%. So that's pretty much $5 that they're missing out on, and that's what they're looking at. They're not looking at anything else. They are looking at the bottom line. Hold on, that's let's say To the Top sold 10,000 copies. Sorry, I'm trying to do the maths here because I don't want to do an MSNBC thing here and screw up on the arithmetic. So hold on.
It's going to work out.
5 times.
Golfer, how you doing? You all right, guys?
10,
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
That's $50,000. So in reality, that is $50,000 that Oculus have just thrown away. And that it just comes down to that. It is nothing to do with SideQuest. It just comes down to pounds and pence. They want their money. They
were wrong.
They've screwed up, and I think they know they have.
Yeah, even the community. They had the community go against them. But
I still think they want to have that curated thing for the Oculus Store.
And I agree with it.
I think they also want to have this. Like their version of SideQuest where they still make money.
Yeah.
So like, okay, To the Top can go to this one, but we will still take our 30% cut.
Do you remember like the Xbox indie thing? Do you remember that? That was fantastic, wasn't it? The amount of times I went to game shows and there'd be indie devs, and it would be on. At the end of the day, like to say that to the indie developer, say our game is going to be on the Xbox 360 or the X, that was a big deal. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause it was going in the hands of thousands and thousands of people. That's what I potentially see this as. I don't know who's going to be making money. I don't know whether they're going to be charging them to do this stuff. I'm not sure. One thing I do agree with, though, like TGK literally is right. I do agree with control of the store because there is some utter crap out there, and there's no real. I think it's better. I think because the Quest has got the ability and the reach that you've got to be responsible for what is put on that store.
I think SideQuest helped them initially because when there was a little bit of a drought with Quest games, SideQuest kind of satiated that thirst for new content.
Hand tracking demos. What would people be playing?
Exactly. Yeah, no one would even know about it, really, would they?
Yeah, it'd just be a video, I think. Walks of the Wizards. That'd be it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that kind of helped them in their favor. But I think since day one, even though there's all this on the front of it on social media, there's all this. Oh no, we're working in partnership. We're all good. Facebook are like, well, we need to learn from these guys. We need to copy their method, and we need to control it all again. We'll allow it for the time being because if we shut it off, we're going to lose loads of people. They're going to move off to some other platform. This is keeping people with Quest, so we'll leave it for a while. And then, like you're saying, it's down to money as well. Like obviously, Crisis Brigade was coming through free. And it got all those downloads. It obviously wouldn't have got many if it had to charge, because obviously that's just not how things work. But To the Top as well is another example. And they're just thinking developers seeing success other developers are going to see the success that To The Top has had charging through SideQuest, and they're going to go, yeah, let's just do that. It's going to be easier than going through Oculus, because all you're hearing on social media is not the success stories of Oculus developers of submission. It's the ones that are failing. That's the news. That's the press. So I think, yeah, it's down to money, and it's down to control. So I think SideQuest will to give it like 7-8 months. SideQuest will be very, very minimal impact. There won't be as much on there.
Well, that's why the top developers have said that they're working on a sequel now, because they've now got an alternative to sell their game. If Oculus turn around and say, no, we ain't going to give it, we're not going to let it go on. It's like, okay, well, and they must have made good money on Itch.io. So it's like, okay, well, we'll just sell our game this way and sell it through SideQuest. It's the same issue you've got with, it's got rejected, Pixel Ripped. How in God's name have they declined Pixel Ripped 1989 but said okay to Pixel Ripped 1995? It's like
it doesn't make sense.
I was just going to say, right? I don't think you're going to see Pixel Ripped on SideQuest. Obviously, I don't think it's going to go down that route, because
no.
I think they're kind of above that. If that sound, I don't mean to sound, but they're quite a big dev, aren't they now? Well known. It is shocking that they weren't allowed on there. But one of the things I think that Crisis V Brigade did quite cleverly with that, he's got another game coming, and we don't know whether that's already been yet. You'll be on the store. So by putting his older game out for free on SideQuest, he's going to build an audience of following people who want to play his next game. So he's kind of used the platform. What it's for, it's what it's all about, because I do believe SideQuest's venture was to support VR developers, without a doubt. There's no two ways about it. They've done an amazing job on that store. That store is fantastic. So much work has gone into it. So, I just think, when I saw this, and I'm glad you kind of agree that in a way it seemed like a bit of a nail in the coffin for SideQuest. That, they're not gonna, they don't want that. That's what it felt like. So.
Oh, they're definitely going after SideQuest because they can see money. It's as simple as that. They can see money, and they want it.
Yeah. It makes me wonder though, like how much of a big hit Crisis V Brigade would have been on the official store. It would have been big. Like, it's 72,000 downloads used by SideQuest, and I know still people today pick up my videos and go, "What is SideQuest? How can I install it?" Blah blah blah. Some people have got a Quest and haven't got a PC. Well, why would they need a PC? They might not own a PC, and they just get a Quest and they can't access these games. So, I think
you can get a second-hand PC because it isn't about the specs on the PC for SideQuest.
No, that's right. Absolutely.
It's just a delivery system, so you can pick up a second-hand, like £100 laptop that's a piece of crap, and it's still.
Ask any friend with any PC.
Yeah.
Or like this trusty old potato here.
Yeah, that's it. It's got this potato going on. And someone was talking about shadow PCs again every week. I think we touch on shadow. It's becoming more of a thing each week in the chat, shadow PCs. And might be something worth checking out, Dane, on what you've got to see whether you can actually get like because you're going to have games ready cross-buy.
Yep.
Because of your Quest. So potentially you could get in the Oculus Store now, download those games now. I don't know how much hard drive space. Let's say you've had enough. And then get a link cable and then try that Shadow PC thing and see if it works. Because I can't remember whether they said the link's working with it or not. I can't remember whether that is the case. I'll have to find out. But Virtual Desktop is. So that's what I mean. I don't know how much power you need to run Virtual Desktop to then run a link game. With a Shadow PC. It's all like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? In my mind, I'm like, I haven't got a clue how much power you need to do all that stuff.
Yeah, there's tons of people that are running it either through desktop or through link or whatever. So it's feasible with varying degrees of performance based on like Wi-Fi routers and all that sort of stuff. But it does seem like an option. It's something I am looking at to see if it's something that is going to make sense. So if I can't save up for a PC, then if I can do the shadow route, I don't even think it was that expensive.
So there you go. Boy Brown is saying Shadow PC works better with Virtual Desktop. So you're saying better. So you're saying the link cable does work with a Shadow PC? That's what it sounds like. Because Boy Brown was in this situation where he'd have to put down like £1,000 to upgrade his PC, get it better. Or think about the SideQuest thing as a monthly payment over the top, and that's what he's done. And I think the best tier available, basically like the best PC spec, he can't get to yet, as far as I know, and that's what it's based on.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, I've seen some other people mention this, and obviously I'm not technical at all, am I? But they're saying that because you have to do a roundabout way using virtual desktop through SideQuest to do this sort of stuff, and if we're talking about SideQuest potentially disappearing later down the line, then it's maybe not a solution that's going to work in the long run. I mean, this is what I'm gathering from other people saying. I don't know myself.
Yeah,
I don't think SideQuest is going to go anywhere yet, because Oculus have still got to set up their system and get it working.
Oh yeah, not immediately, but I mean, say 6-8 months down the line.
It's possible, yeah.
I just knew when SideQuest turned up, it was going to be something.
Yeah, we was all waiting for it, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean,
cease and desist or something.
I don't want to speak for Nathy, but I've seen him when we've chatted before. I've seen him chatting about it. He was never that happy with SideQuest, you know. I think, you know, but I think he was also a little bit less happy with Oculus's choices, maybe. To the Top should have been allowed. Pixel Rip should have been allowed. They're two that I know 100% should have been on that store, and they would have done amazing.
Well, I played loads of To the Top on the Quest, and I think I had a very slight frame rate drop once or maybe twice in a long playtime, like 20 hours of playing it. And then I've played other games on the Oculus Store that have had just that or worse. So from a performance standpoint, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It's proof in the pudding sort of thing.
Terminus and SideQuest is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I need to try
Terminus VR. That is a beautiful game. So let's move on to PlayStation VR people. You know, I think we are all PlayStation VR people. 2 games
we started.
have been announced. One is called Good Goliath, developed by Knock Twice Games. Good Goliath pits you against a race of deadly giants and monsters through you yourself are massive too. Minions charge at you. You can pick them up, throw them around, and use them as projectiles against other foes. So, yeah, should we quickly blow over to the trailer, guys? Yeah.
Do it, man.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to wait a minute because I haven't got it set up at all. It's part of what I was supposed to do, and I haven't. So, and it is completely in the wrong bloody frame.
And you got the shark thing again.
I know I've turned the shark thing off, but what I've done was I've done it in 1080p.
Well, that's what we thought.
720p. So what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to start that all over again. I'm going to go into studio mode, which is the professional thing to do, and then I'm going to transition
We're being very professional this
over.
week.
Let's go.
Giants. There used to be a lot of them. Now, there are none. Well, that's what we thought. Until today. They called him Goliath.
And there we go. That is Good Goliath. I did try and follow the guy and find out some information, and I think he's a ex-Disney animator of some sort. And that was one thing you see in that trailer is it looks phenomenal artwork and stuff.
Yeah, it does look good. It looks really good. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah, hard to get. It says art design is nice. Yeah, so yeah, it looks cool. So it looks good. So what do you think of that? Just from that trailer and that info?
It looks good. It looks pretty polished, clean. It's got that kind of cartoony graphics that we've always said works well for VR. It doesn't push the limits too much when you're trying to go realistic. That's when you see the fraying at the edges, so to speak. And it does look fun. I mean, like I was saying a second ago, and a little while earlier, Sharks VR, perfect match.
Absolutely. What was that? What was that game that had the shark gun on Xbox? I don't remember the shark gun.
Shark gun.
There was a bloody game on the Xbox, and it was like a third-person shooter, and you had a shark gun. But yeah, go on. Sorry, man. Carry on.
Sure. Now I'm just thinking, what is this game?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
You've gone and overtaken it, dude.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've played.
Yeah, no, I don't know either.
It wasn't MDK, I don't think. I remember MDK. I don't think it's MDK.
But
Kill.
That was a quality game. That was like his head was a weapon. So I'll have to look it up.
Demolition Man.
But no, I do have to say, looking at this though, yes, it looks really good, but it's another wave game to me. It looks
Nothing
like another. Well, it's instead of a straight up shooter, it's more like a grab and throw wave game.
And we've literally just had Throw Anything, which I haven't played personally, so I can't give a proper comment on it. But that looked super generic and a bit pants. Like it's a few years too late. I think that seems to be my opinion on a lot of VR games that come out, especially the wave shooter ones. It's just a few years too late.
We find had it, we've seen it, we've done it, and it's like okay. So I mean, as much as I love Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, if they literally bring out a sequel to that and it's just a little bit more of what we've already had, it's like if you'd brought that out about a year after Rush of Blood, yeah, I'd have been interested, but I wouldn't be interested in it now. Because it's things move on. There's still fun to be had, but you've got to try and do something like I say innovative, which is kind of what I said about this this game a little bit earlier. It's just like I look at it and it's just like, what are you doing different that's going to make me want to get it? There's fun. It definitely looks like there's fun to be had, but it comes down to price.
I think you're right there. I think the slight difference here is that you're catching sharks midair and then throwing it back.
Yeah.
But that's it. I don't see much else going on in the gameplay there. But it could still be some really good fun for those who haven't really dug into that yet.
I mean, there is that thing I worry about, because it's funny because you talk about it like being a fanboy or something. Like, do you get hyped over a game like this because you're a PSVR fan? Do you know what I mean? No. And you're looking for good quality games. This game visually oozes quality. Yeah. In my mind, I hope, and I'm assuming. I think it comes out next month or something. I'm assuming by looking at it, it's ready to go. The control scheme's down, everything's locked in. It's just a case of waiting for a good time to launch that game. Because there's probably some big hitters coming out, and Sony seems to believe that the flat market affects the VR market side of things. I don't think it does personally, but they seem to think it does. I don't know, man. I mean, personally, like talking to you guys now, you've kind of killed my hype a little bit. I was really hyped for it.
Sorry.
I was really hyped for it. I was.
My job is done. I have brought everyone down. I've killed their butt.
Don't get me wrong. I will happily play this, and I'm sure I will have fun playing it, and so will lots of other people, because it's like, again, it's in the same vein that Shark of Mars trailer. Sharks floating around.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to take it seriously. You're going to have to. But I think mechanically it's got the same thing. But I think, if you're in the headspace to catch and then throw sharks at people,
that sounds amazing.
It's going to be your game.
Listen, I
been in that headspace my whole life.
End of the day, I
can imagine that it would be actually.
I think to myself, can I pick up and throw a shark now? No. Will I ever in my whole life?
GT, you can do anything you set your mind to it. I reckon you could pick up a hammerhead. Easy.
That's beautiful.
Can't you be a shark in Asgard's Wrath? Can't you make a shark?
A companion.
You can make one, use your
you have a
companion.
shark. Yeah, you can make a shark. You do pick up the shark and then you make it into a person sharky thing.
Sharky thing.
And then you can. He is. He's a person sharky thing. He's very scary.
Sharky and George.
The crime busters of the sea.
Wow.
Sharky and George. They'll solve any mystery. I know all that.
Oh, that was good. That
was good.
That was class.
I don't know if anyone knows what we're talking about.
Boomer.
Oh, that's what I
There
forgot,
else.
man. I forgot. I put it in the Discord.
Yeah.
Lies Beneath put out another little trailer of using a shotgun in the game. Do you want me to grab that? Do you want me to?
Yeah, I've not seen
All
that.
right, we'll chat that on in a minute. Next up, we're going to talk about the next PlayStation VR game that got announced was Final Assault. Is now coming to PlayStation VR, and I am going to check it out now because it's coming to PlayStation VR. Hopefully next week if nothing's around, because I haven't played it and it looks absolutely fantastic. But let's check out the trailer for the PC VR game, and in case you don't know what it is.
You're all a bunch of knobs.
No, your mic's live. The mic is live. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Nat was talking about people he knows. That's what he's talking about, not us. So, that game looks really good. You all right, Anne? How you doing?
Which way is the middle actually for me? Is it down that way?
Yeah.
Am I up there? I don't bloody know.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So Dane's heard of this
Yeah,
game,
it's that way.
and he was saying Final Assault is an esports game. It's big in esports.
Yeah, that's all. When you kind of see on Twitter people talking about esports and then VR kind of pops up into the mix. This one seems to be pretty big. I don't pay too much attention to that sort of stuff myself, to be honest, but it seems to be one that pops up quite a lot. So it'd be interesting to see how that comes across. So I think we're saying this is cross-play with different headsets as well. And I think strategy games in VR is, I don't know, I'm really, really curious because strategy games on flat games with a dual shock where you got like 20 odd buttons or whatever have always been like looked down upon because it's not as easy to have all your shortcuts and your commands like you can have on the PC with a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So coming down to potentially move controllers is even more limiting. So I'm really curious.
I think it'll work really well with this kind of game. I don't see any issues personally. I think you can move around the world really easy with the move controllers, depending on the game. I think it's first-person games that struggle. That's. But
I played,
I mean, we've had a couple of like God games on PSVR that worked quite well.
God games
already. So you know, I'm kind of like open to that as well. I do have Viveport at the moment, so it's one where I should probably jump in and test out the cross-play ability of that as well. But yeah.
I think it's really good.
Game though.
I liked they had a game on PlayStation VR called No Heroes Allowed, and I really enjoyed that. And that was like a strategy type game, and I thought that worked really, really well. So definitely looking forward to this. I mean, obviously it's a World War II and stuff, so a bit like South. So I keep meaning to sign up for Viveport. Obviously, I think what is it, a 14-day trial they do as well. So,
The thing is, it depends on your library of titles, because if you've got a lot of PCVR titles, you lose value. But if you haven't got a lot, especially if you're new, there is a load of good stuff in there.
Yeah,
it's really cool. It's really cool. I'm just going to try and find.
I'd especially say if you just bought a PC headset and you want to try out what PCs you got, then Viveport is a good thing. With that like 14-day trial, then that's a really good aspect to it. But yeah, like you say, if you've actually got a big VR catalog that you play just certain games already on, then it's not so much worth that money.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and download this. Or I am downloading this Lies Beneath shotgun things. It looked really cool. No worries, Scott. See you later, man. See you later. Thank you for being here, dude. Always appreciate it. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I was going to say, in terms of strategy games, there was one, Qua Infernal Machines, which kind of just went completely under the radar.
I never got to check that out. I never did.
Yeah, I did, and I found it pretty cumbersome. And again, that's not to like compare that to this, because I think this is coming from PCVR. It's in esports because it's probably pretty intuitive for what it is, to be fair.
Right.
So I think this is probably going to be the best version of a strategy game that we're going to get in VR on PSVR. So I think if this works, then it could be brilliant, because I really like strategy games myself. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how that comes across. And if it's a good port, then I'm pretty sure it's going to be amazing. But if it's I think the only thing that might hold it back then is potentially it being a bad port.
Yeah, for sure.
You just don't want a bad port, do you?
Yeah.
No, never. You never want a bad port. So let's. I hope it's full screen. Transition into Lies Beneath shotgun trailer.
No, it's free locomotion. You can see it.
But is it in a small?
Right, we are back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I actually thought that added a whole new element to the game of what I thought the game I was going to be getting. Does that make sense? I did not expect certain things like that. That game looks really like quite arcadey, fast, and full of action. So yeah, more hype, dude. More hype.
Well, the art style is absolutely gorgeous. So
yeah, for sure. And the fact it's coming to the Quest first, I think that's really interesting that they've chose to do that.
Yeah,
I think that
speaks to the popularity of the Quest and how many devs are trying to get in on that hype train, because
because
it sells so much.
Didn't they originally say that Star Wars Vader Immortal was going to be first on Quest, and they come back on it or something?
No, the first episode was, but I think episode 2 and episode 3 they just released it simultaneously.
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree with Danish that I think the Quest has sold a lot more than we think it has, considerably, and I think that's why developers want to make sure that they get their game on the Quest as quickly as possible. And I think that the Lies Beneath developer, they know how many Quest headsets have been sold. I guarantee that Oculus and Facebook have told them. And I think that's most probably why they've turned around and said, okay, look, we're going to put it on Quest and we're going to bring it on Rift a little bit later. I don't know if there's been any announcement if it's going to be cross-buy.
I'm assuming it will be.
I would have thought so, because then if it is cross-buy as well, again...
Are you looking at upsell, sorry?
No, I was looking something else up.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, yeah, sorry, as soon as you said that, I saw his hands move, and I thought, oh, he's looking that up. So, yeah, I'm assuming it will be, because it is an Oculus exclusive. They said it was built on the Quest, and then kind of upgraded to the Rift. So
Downscaled.
yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Is going to be happening. Yeah, Drifter. Yeah, that's right. They did Robo Recall's port for the Quest. Yes, they did. Yeah.
They
and,
did Gunheart as well. I've got it, but I haven't played it yet. But that's meant to be pretty good.
Gunheart's
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
pretty good.
I mean, I think it's another one of those things. Actually, you're talking about innovative games. It was very good for its day. You know, it was very good for the time. How does that come across now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Be interesting to hear your positive thoughts on it now. Let's.
Positive.
So, Valve Index VR kits will be available to purchase this Monday, tomorrow, March 9th, starting at 10 a.m. PDT, which I think that means, is that 5 hours ahead of us?
6
Behind.
p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. Europe.
Is that ahead or behind? I can't remember. Are they 5 hours?
They're
They
behind.
are behind.
Right, okay, yeah.
Like I say, it'll be 6 p.m. UK time,
Right.
and 7 p.m. in Europe.
Yeah.
For our Spanish viewer who said hello at the beginning.
Hi, is anyone thinking of picking up a Valve Index? Like at the moment, I'd really like to know.
I wish I could.
If they did a,
I
because
so wish I could.
if you buy a Quest or a Rift off Amazon, for example, you can get it 0% interest over 5 months payment. So it would make me wonder, like, if they did their own payment plan like that. I wonder if more people over a year, for example, would jump in, because I'll tell you what, I'd be bloody tempted. I'll be like, yeah, I'll try and squeeze a bit more life out of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's 919 quid for the full kit.
How much?
And if 919. So it's $1,000, £919 GB. If they did something like that over the space of a year, 12 months, 900 quid, break that up. Yeah.
I think it's good. I think
it a lot more affordable.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't see why they don't do that. I mean, we're in the times now where that is a standard, isn't it? Mobile phones are now not a year contract, not 2, 3 years, some of them now contracts. So, do you know what I mean? It just seems like, to me,
people in and capitalize on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes sense to me. It's the times. It's a sign of the times.
Well, it's just something they haven't set up as a company. I mean, hardware side, yeah, they're that. They set up the distribution network and different things. They were trying to get back into hardware, and this is hardware that is expensive hardware. So they haven't set up something like that as a finance option, or didn't think that they would need to kind of do that at that scale, because it's just crazy how well the Index has actually sold as well.
So I was just going to
A lot
say
of that is coming back again off of Half-Life Alyx and the pickup that happened from Half-Life Alyx as well.
I wonder how much the coronavirus has affected the Index, though. I reckon it's massive.
Going to affect everybody. I think it's going to affect everything for a certain extent, because you've got to remember, sometimes there can be a single chip or component coming from China that is needed somewhere else where it's manufactured and, or placed onto a board. And that could be the one thing that delays. Hell, in the case of the Knuckles controllers, which they have now changed the Knuckles controllers, in case anybody's wondering, because there's a lot of things about the thumbsticks breaking.
Yeah.
On the Knuckles controllers. If you look at the new, they didn't announce it, but new Knuckles controllers, the thumbstick, the stalk of the stick is actually wider.
What, the new ones? Is there any way of identifying, like, if you unboxed it, is there a category, like an ID number or a manufacturer number?
There is no ID batch number that I know of, but they do have, the thumbstick is actually slightly wider, the base of the thumbstick, so your portion sort of like there is much wider, so that it's not got that. Apparently the clicky instance thing where it didn't click in every direction is the other thing that's been looked at.
How much is the Knuckles on their own for example? If you had a Vive Pro and
They're
everything,
they're a couple £100. I think it's about 250, something like that.
I wonder if they're worth that much on their own, because I see a lot of them break. They look kind of flimsy, and when I used them, they felt great, but I don't remember thinking, "Cool, these feel premium." Do you know what I mean? Does that sound right to anyone who's got them? Like, the plastic felt.
Well, that's actually been a complaint about a lot of Valve products. I remember the Steam controller got a lot of feedback about it being feeling cheap.
Yeah.
You know, not a premium product, even though it's being sold as such.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out. I was talking to someone the other day about it, and I couldn't remember who it was. PSVR Frank picked up an Index, a second-hand one, for $400 the other day with controllers.
Right, so
Crazy.
The Valve Index controllers are £259 by themselves.
So have you got Vive and you got the Lighthouses, Salsa? You got all that?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
this is the thing. If you're coming into this,
whoa! You see what Skeever put? I'm waiting on my third set of Knuckles to come back from Valve.
Wow,
that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Unless he's an absolute nutter who goes around punching anything.
You do have people.
It's all I had at hand when he tried to mug me. Whack! You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is some crazy stuff where I've heard it completely from a lot of people as well. That people that go through controllers like nobody's business, and it was the same with the Oculus Touch as well.
Is it the plastic thing though? Is it the plastic? I'm wondering.
I don't know. I just don't know.
He's having
drift problems. If you have people out there, the amount of times I see people with mobile phones with cracked screens, and it's like, I only got my phone the other day, and I'm like, I've had my phone for 2 years, and there isn't a single scratch on my screen. How does that happen?
JD, can anyone see this? All I can see is your comment. What?
I think that's all he's asking. If
yeah, we can
see his comments. So yes.
Can anyone see me? It's like that he's in what's that? Interstellar. He's in another dimension. Can anyone see me? Can you hear me? JD, you're coming through, man. We're all on the same plane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what was you talking prices anyway, though?
Yeah, sorry.
So, $259, which obviously gets you the game for free.
Yeah, so that makes them like.
Is it still available? No, I thought that was only up to a certain point.
No, it will be tomorrow, and they'll be out of stock as soon as tomorrow goes live. You know that's going to happen.
Can we all say hello to JD, please? He's put hello. I'm on Twitter. Can we all say hello?
Hello, JD.
JD from Twitter.
How you doing, my
Twitter
son?
land.
Mate, Twitter. The followers on there, I cannot believe it. Like, I'm over 2k followers on Twitter. You just think, like, how does that happen? How the hell does that happen?
Because you put the work in, mate. You deserve it.
Oh, cheers, man. I'll go through my media and it's just like gifts. It's just bullshit. It's just rubbish. You know what I mean? I guess I do retweet some good stuff, maybe, to help other people and stuff, but most of the time it's like, GTVR on Twitter is epic. Cool, thank you very much. There was one more thing that we wanted to touch on. Oh yes, it was the 3D rudder that I know that.
Oh, Quest.
Yeah, and I know that Dane is so excited to talk about this. This is the highlight for him. He's been waiting to talk about this.
Oh man. So
the pressure.
As soon as it came up, I was just like, "Oh, is this still a thing?" Because I know they mentioned it a while ago, and I was like, "Look, I've not tried it, but I see its benefits for PSVR because there's no thumbsticks, right? But Quest, I don't get it.
I don't
understand.
So I thought I had a really good relationship with 3D Rudder. They sent me the prototype or whatever it is. They sent me the ground gripper, wellhead, and all this stuff. And I really actually liked it. It works well with certain games. It really does. Beat Blast was actually a great example of how it works really well. But when I said to them, the appeal of it is the lack of thumbsticks on the moves, which in their mind means their product is only worth something until PSVR 2, for example, which means you can already see an end now. You know that headset's coming. It's not, when is it going to be outdated? It's going to happen. They weren't happy with that, unfortunately, you know.
Quite opinionated.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and I don't know whether it's just me, whether I'm missing something or not, but like, for example,
I think they're seeing it as a what do you call it? An immersion point, that because you're using your feet to move, that you might relate it more to your body than a thumbstick.
I get that, but I'm going to kind of brush past that quickly because there was one point. So in terms of PSVR and the Oculus Quest, one thing that I keep seeing come up, and I'm really interested to see what anyone in the chat thinks about this as well, is this is accessible for people with disabilities, backs, all this sort of stuff.
Yes.
But and it was weird. It was like a revelation the other day when I saw this Quest VR. I was like, how is this more accessible to anyone with any kind of disability than, because you have to sit on the edge of your seat, you have to plant your feet on this device on the floor and sit probably like upright and rigid to play it, as opposed to sitting back in your couch or wherever you're sitting, being more relaxed and just using the buttons, because it wasn't making games playable that were not playable before. It was just saying, instead of pressing buttons on the moves, then you can use your feet.
Oh no, but you have people that you do have people that actually have either deformity with their hands or their arms, that makes it difficult for them in those cases to use a actual controller in their hands. To use thumbsticks becomes impossible.
Yeah.
So that you have various other controls that are built in that way. So using their feet is a viable option there.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
there's still a limited amount of people that are going to utilise it for that.
It is.
Like this video now.
The reason I was saying it is because that was the kind of the chief thing I kept on seeing, and obviously it's not exclusive, right? Like you're saying, there's people with different disabilities that would limit their hands, but the 3D rudder wouldn't necessarily solve that, if that makes sense, because it's one form of the whole controller scheme.
It is one form of the whole controller scheme, but then there's things like what Xbox did with the expandable thing with
Logitech. You're talking about, isn't you?
Yeah.
Is that the thing you're talking about?
It's not Logitech, no.
Logitech done something with Microsoft for that big controller thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it may be in Logitech as well, but it's also the gamers charity. I've got their wristbands over there, and I've done different streams for them as well. Typical. Basically, they helped with the accessibility needs and designs of that controller. So it's like multiple different parts that you plug in, and you can build different control schemes.
Yeah.
Different types and styles of buttons, and all sorts of plethora can be built for this. You can even use some of their buttons, get a 3D printer and create a new object or button particular to somebody's disability, and use that and just plug it straight in.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's not on PSVR, and it's not on Quest at the moment. So it almost seems like the 3D rudder is halfway there to a solution.
Yeah.
But it's not being marketed in that way at all.
Exactly.
This is your one-stop solution if you've got disabilities, or you've got back pains and all this sort of. And that's the only kind of. And this is why I was saying that. Using that specific example, like back pains and leg, not being able to stand up and things like that, because that's the only way I've seen them market it. I've not seen them market it in any other way. And I was like, well, no, that doesn't actually make any sense on that point. But again, like someone has actually said Skiva, and this is actually a good point, saying the rudder will be good for Quest for hand tracking specific games. And that does make sense to me. And it will be
wouldn't they build a game if they're doing a hand tracking game, they're not going to build it for movement.
So this game here, right? This particular thing we were talking about SideQuest earlier. You can get this on SideQuest. You just stay in one point, press the buttons, and things happen around the train track. But what they're saying is now with the rudder, you can skip around, move around, and that's cool. I want to sort of say, oh, that's really cool. I just don't. I don't know what the potential is for the mass market of this. That's what I'm saying. Like what we're all saying all together. And it's great to have options. We've always said that. It's really good. You know, if there is someone out there with a disability and they can only use their legs to move around in a game and not their hands, that's cool. And thank you 3D Rudder for making it. But I think for the majority of Quest owners, the Quest is all about freedom, movement, 360 gaming, no camera, no wires. This then seems the opposite of the message of the Quest. It seems like now we're going to say, right, you've got to sit down. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the bit it
It comes down
becomes.
to the marketing of it as well, because what we're kind of saying is almost what this potentially would work for is not how they're marketing it or how they're positioning it when they're, you know, through Twitter and things like that. They're not, you know, when it comes to Twitter, like, look, like it was saying, like hands motion tracking games, there was literally one example they can do through SideQuest. And like Nat saying, are we going to see games developed solely for hand tracking that are designed with locomotion in mind that will work with the 3D rudder?
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very small niche market.
Yeah.
And then again, from the accessibility standpoint, you know, because as well as I get what you're saying, GT, and I agree that obviously it's all about, it's advertised as freedom and all this sort of stuff. It's also just something that just has no cables. It has no need for.
Yeah, they're saying it's going to be the
need for a
wireless
PlayStation.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be wireless as well. So it still could appeal to people that do have disabilities and, you know, need something that just makes it easier to
I can
play.
see my granddad
I'm
being
just-
able to use it, and he's over 90.
Yeah. But then what would be the difference in using the thumbsticks versus...
Well,
he's
my
still got to
granddad
be able
can't
to
use
press
his
the buttons.
thumbs. He can't use his thumb properly.
But like,
He's got too much arthritis.
for example, yeah,
Would he
when
be
I
able
got
to use the other buttons, though?
He wouldn't
know what I
need
mean?
to use buttons if it was hand tracking like that game there.
Yes.
He can just use his hands. But, you know, giving him an extra motion thing, because he's got very long legs. He was a very tall person, but
Mhm.
so he'd be able to use that quite easily. And the thing with buttons is a lot of people don't get buttons. But if you something with your feet, yeah, they can get that for movement.
More
yeah,
intuitive.
like the Wiimotes. You know,
Yeah.
it's so simple. You press like the grip, that was it. Then you're picking up
Yeah.
a bowling ball and you're letting go with it. All you got to do is say, grab that, let go of it, and they're in a game and they're playing a game. And I witnessed it with Jane's granddad, who's now passed away. But watching him play the Wii back in the day was awesome, because if you'd have ever said to him, play a computer game, he'd have gone, I can't do that. And I'd agree with him. I'd have gone, I don't think you can do that. Unless you sit down for many, many hours.
My PS4, mate.
Yeah, it's just like, do you know what I mean? Because I think there's a barrier of age where you can just like, there was this old guy at work, anything to do with computers and tech, without him even knowing what you wanted him to do, he'd go, nah, not doing, not interested. Do you know what I mean? It's too old. I'm too old, and it's too young. It's not my generation. So there's that already boomer-like barrier of, I won't get this, even if before I've even tried. You know what I mean? It's one of
So
those.
what's your take on it? What's your take on this?
Don't
Boomer.
What are you calling this?
Our resident boomer.
Salsa the Boomer VR Boomer channel coming soon. VR Boomer channel is coming soon.
For
VR
people that
boomers.
are of an older generation, especially social networking and stuff like that,
VR Boomer.
where you are stuck in place, or you're, you know, those of whatever ilk, to be able to socialize more, who can't get out as much, things like that. But making it easy is one of those things. If that makes it easier for someone where they don't need controllers to use it, and their feet are more intuitive to use for a form of motion, great. But it is very niche.
There was someone the other day in one of their videos, and fair play to them, I think they was really going for some hashtags here. She was playing Fortnite with the
3D
rudder. And I was like, I can't see this being beneficial in my mind.
Official sponsorship from Ninja next month. That's what's going to happen.
I didn't get it. Apparently it helped her, like, up her, like, fighting and building game. But I was watching it.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah,
Who
maybe.
knows?
I don't.
I agree. I think I shared with you, GT. Like, I saw this article that was like 3D rudder, competitive edge on Fortnite, and I was
That's
like,
it.
"Oh, shut up, shut up." I was like, "Get off."
I
And
think,
then, but maybe I don't play Fortnite. I don't know.
It could be
but-
the whole thing of just the intuitive nature. That's what they're getting on.
Mm.
That to be able to use your feet for movement is an intuitive thing.
Yeah. When I walk down the street, I tilt my feet forwards, move forward faster.
And you go.
If I want to
Fort
turn, I just
rudder.
rotate my feet a bit.
Well,
Fort
any
rudder.
sensible person who is on a hoverboard does that.
Exactly.
MJ Sparkle said, I missed it though, but he says cyber shoes. Has anyone tried them, and what do you think of them?
No,
Wow.
but
do you know what?
You need a stall, don't
I want
you?
to try them.
I could
do.
have. I was at Gamescom, and there was a
Yeah.
relatively large queue to try them out. And do you know what put me off them? Sitting down again. Personally, it was sitting down again. And do you know what? Sometimes, and it sounds so. Sometimes I do want to sit down and play VR, depending on the day I've had. That's the problem. Sometimes, my legs are tired. I've done a lot of walking, or I've been in the gym, whatever else, and I just think, do you know what? I just want to sit down today, and that makes you miss traditional gaming because you're always sitting down and playing a game all the time. Do you know what I mean? Every game you play non-VR is seated. You'd look a nutter if you just someone walked in and you're just standing there in the middle of the room playing whatever. They'd be like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you standing up?" So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like standing up. It's because I play virtual reality. I'm used to it. I stand up all the time.
I'd
And
like to try them out.
I think
But-
you need a stall, really, don't you? To do
Yes,
that?
you do. Well, you need one that does 360.
Yeah, you want to be able to
Because the ideal,
just walk around. Yeah,
yeah, the idea is that all your every bit of that movement is done
you need
by
a
spinning on
stall.
the chair.
I think you need a stall with a buckle on it, really, don't you?
Yeah.
I want omnidirectional. I want all these treadmills like Cat VR, all that sort of stuff. But then in reality, I would be dead within about 5 minutes of running on these machines on an exciting game and a walking simulator.
Oh, you mean the Omni treadmills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I look at it and I'm like, that is it. We need this.
Yeah,
But I know if I had it, I would like do a walking sim and be like, well, this isn't actually that great. I'm just bloody walking. If I
you'd be
play an action game, I'll be dead in 5 seconds. You just see my VR just heaving and just like.
Developers would love it though, wouldn't they? You couldn't moan about the speed of movement. They'd be like, "Well, you're not running anywhere, mate. You're just lazy. You got to be running
You
around."
slow bastards. On it.
Wait
No,
until it
I thought-
happens when we're going to be hiring out. I don't know, tennis courts or whatever for Space Pirate Arena.
Yeah. I think Navy's got a video coming up of that shortly.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, how many of you guys played like large scale VR?
I've played location-based VR. Yes.
Yeah, you played like a location base where you've got basically more than 5 meters.
It was like 9
know.
meters by 9 meters or something like that. It was.
Like that, yeah. And how quickly you can actually get worn out when you play VR.
I just got lost though. I got lost in it. I thought it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah,
Location-based VR is superb.
The closest I've
It's
come
good,
to it, which is not really like location based, but locomotion VR, was with Evasion and their jogging method of transport, which I actually really loved.
Yeah.
But I was ending up in my kitchen. I was completely knackered, but it's almost like a short-lived, super fun experience that it's not going to stand up because
No.
unless you're a fitness freak, you don't want to be sprinting about everywhere when you play a game. Like you're saying, sometimes we just want to chill, and even if chilling is standing up and pressing some buttons.
The thing
that's
is,
a form of chill.
I do.
Running,
It will happen. I do think that will be a massive part of it eventually one day. I do think that'll be part of it. I mean, one thing I think we can all agree on is doing anything fitness-wise in virtuality. Time flies. You don't really notice what you do. If you're in the gym doing some of the
Yes.
stuff, it would take a massive toll, or more of a toll on your body than it would in VR. Like, do you know what I mean? Playing Thrill of the Fight for an hour and a half. And as I said, like I was literally, it's like I've been in the shower. I was completely soaked. If I wouldn't even dream of doing that kind of level. That'd be like skipping for an hour or something. I don't know. It'd be absolutely nuts. But in Thrill of the Fight, yeah, I was knackered. Yeah, I was tired, but I'm having fun, like more fun.
Yeah,
Than.
I think that's a good point. Definitely, I think for fitness, VR is It could be massive. It could because you're right. If you're playing Box VR, you're playing Beat Saber, you're having fun, you're not worrying about anything else, nothing's distracting you. If you're like at a gym or whatever, or going out for a run outside
on your phone, people on their phones.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you got it's just kind of like the nature of people these days, isn't it? Really, like you need something constantly distracting. We've all got mobile phones glued to our hands 24/7 because we can't go a minute not being entertained to a certain extent. So going to the gym and jumping on the treadmill, running outside when you're like, oh, I feel a bit knackered, I can't stop. You've got constant engagement and stimulation with VR, and I think that's a massive market for it. But just general gameplay.
Midlife just said,
you're not going to get treadmills in the house.
Well, Buck had his exercise bike.
Oh,
play,
he did.
He did.
That was so good. That was really good. That was amazing. I couldn't believe it. Like when I saw that, I was having a bit of a crap day. I think I was just like, oh god. And I put that on, and I was like, mate, it made me so happy. It made me always get a little bit funny. Do you know what I mean? It made me really happy watching him do that. It was lovely. And then he done another video. I don't know what happened, but he done another video, and
I have to admit, I was creasing up at that.
Did you see the other? Did you see the next video?
Oh god!
I was creasing up at that.
That was on my TV in the front room. I was like, Mrs. GT's like, she went to me. Funny enough, she saw, who did we see in that video? It might have been Rowdy Guy first of all, or something, and she went...
Yeah, it is Rowdy.
She went, you better not be in this video, and I was like, oh, I hope I'm not. And I think he just aimed for the big guys, you know what I mean? So I was really pleased that I wasn't in it. In a way. I was just like, when she said it to me, I thought, Christ, I could be. Like, because he said to me, saying like, oh, you might want to watch this. And when she said it, the two clicked.
You just got to watch out for the different get to the chopper part in that video.
Yeah, the helicopter penis.
Yeah.
I was like, what is... Yeah, it was a crazy
There's
video.
There's no association with me. Don't try to associate with me with that. I am not affiliated with that video.
Yeah,
but I did find it hilarious. Yeah.
Salsa looks like he does box fit every day.
I'm afraid I don't.
Did you say needs to or does?
I need to. I need to do all of the fitness stuff every day, but I don't have the, my bed goes, no, you want to stay here. I am your friend. You don't want to get up and play this ridiculously fast VR game that's going to make you sweat bucket loads before you go to work.
You need to do it, man.
That's like some crazy AI effect right there.
Yeah,
I know.
Buck's t-shirt looked spray on in that video. I did see it. It was like a spray on red t-shirt. On the case, need a VR remake of Prop Cycle. I do remember that. That was like the flying bike game, I think. Bright yellow, I seem to remember.
Namco actually have a VR flying bike game.
Is that the one though? Isn't it? Like you lean it forward and pull it back to go up and down.
Yeah, they have a fully working one of that in VR. So they already have built that, which of course is location based. And yes, I have played it.
Yeah. Oh, wicked. I don't think I played it. I don't know if I played it in VR. I didn't know it was a VR game.
Yeah, no, there's a newer one they made that was basically the Leonardo's flying bike with the wings attached to it and everything else like that, and you over and you're sitting on a bike, you pedal to make it go faster, to go higher, and you lean up and lean across and everything. And very, very good. But like I say, that is an arcade one. That was again, I think they've only got that one in Tokyo. I think that one was exclusive to Tokyo.
Nice. What are you guys
from my local?
What are you guys planning to play next week then? What's on your agendas?
On the agenda,
Natalie, would you like to lead this one? What you got planned?
I'm still gonna carry on playing Half-Life. I need to complete Half-Life 2.
He was playing Half-Life 2 before we went live. He was just like, I was like, what's he doing? He was like,
I've got to play Half-Life 1 again.
Yeah, I've still got to try and finish that, but I've got to do Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Episode 2 as well. I'll try and fit some VR in. I need to finish Stormlands. I keep meaning to finish Stormlands, so I need to finish Stormlands. So then I can start moving on to some of the other lots of PC games that I've purchased.
Nice.
yeah, that's pretty much my intention.
Dane?
Not sure. Are we going to talk about separation at some point?
We can talk about separation. I don't think
we can come back to that if you want.
No. Let's do separation because I haven't got. The only thing is I haven't got any footage to go with it. That's the only thing. I haven't got any video to go with it. In case anyone doesn't know what separation is, let me just quickly try and grab a trailer, just in case. But it did come out this week, didn't it? Did it end up getting released in the EU in the end? Because there was a PEGI rating issue, wasn't there?
Yes. There's a couple of things with that. Obviously, it's one of these games that's getting rave reviews from a few of the PSVR channels and stuff like that. Juxtaposed with Upload VR giving it a kind of a 2 out of 5 rating. And it was one that was all about, it's kind of almost a walking sim with puzzles set in this kind of beautiful looking landscape and environment and things like that. And it kind of was a little bit,
wasn't one of the
from that perspective.
One of the things of the world was like ICO or ICO, which you could see, couldn't you? You could feel that. Heavy
inspiration from ICO. In terms of the color palette as well as like these monolithic structures that you kind of look up at, which are awe-inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was all these sort of issues with it in terms of it released on the store and then pulled off the store like a day or so later because apparently Sony then found out the PEGI rating wasn't in place. And then you see the dev on Twitter saying, I did apply for it, I paid for it, what the hell was going on?
Really?
And he's battling to get it back on the store.
Okay.
Which is a massive issue. And then some people are saying this has happened with a few other games where something's kind of popped up and then just disappeared again straight away. I'm not sure about that.
I got, what's that crazy construction game thing? Curious Construction or...
Fantastic
Curious
Construction.
That's a proper boomer thing, isn't it? That is like you just made up another game which sounds exceptionally similar, but isn't it at all? Crazy Construction. And what's it called?
Fantastic Construction.
It works.
I love it, mate. I love it. It works. Yeah, exactly. We all know what he's talking about.
Yeah, there is a game called Crazy Machines, so...
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it.
But oh God, this is terrible. Anyhow, no. Just sort of like, oh dear. What you call it? So
Midnight wrote.
That's what I'm going at.
Sonic Boom.
Good God. Anyhow, right. So where were we?
That happens a couple of other times on PlayStation VR. Yeah,
that happened with that particular game of name that I forgot. So there you go.
We often see delays to EU as well, or usually the EU delays as well, which is again not really helping the PSVR's core, so to speak. But in terms of that game specifically, I think I was one of the only ones that didn't necessarily enjoy it. I know it's got like 8.7 on some reviews, a 9 out of 10, an 8 out of 10.
Still got a 9 out of 10, is it?
I think someone gave it a 9 out of 10. I know someone definitely gave it an 8.7, which is a very weird score. It's go down to how many fractions you want to go to. I'll give it a 4.69784 recurring score. It's very, very minutiae. But yeah, I thought it was one of these ones that came out of almost nowhere for a lot of people. Like I've been looking for it a while because again the visuals of it looked like they're going to be amazing. I was ready for that.
Yeah.
But it just didn't really land for me. But I know it's really hung with a lot of people. So I was curious how many people in the chat have played it. Because I know you played it, GT, and you did enjoy it. But I played it and didn't really enjoy it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I got stuck. I would have done a whole playthrough actually when I started because I really enjoyed it. Part of me wished there was a bit more to it, first of all, because it is just going from lamp to lamp almost, or crystal to crystal, to get that light. But also in the way, the simplicity of that, I liked it. I liked that, and I liked the world. The movement speed, it would have been nice to have a bit of a run button, double tap. But the speed actually wasn't too bad, and it was changeable in the menus, and I don't think many people picked up on that straight away.
Yeah.
But also in the way, the simplicity of that, I liked it. I liked that, and I liked the world. The movement speed, it would have been nice to have a bit of a run button, double tap. But the speed actually wasn't too bad, and it was changeable in the menus, and I don't think many people picked up on that straight away. It was good. I mean, and I think if you take into account the price, $12.99, not taking the piss at all.
Yeah, it's a good price point.
Made by one guy. There is an emotional backstory to it where he lost his dad, and this was kind of his place, or in his mind, where he would go to reflect and possibly escape the depression and negative thoughts of that. That's part of this journey. So taking all into account, if I did numbers, it'd be a 7 out of 10. Because I did enjoy it. I don't see the need to go really any higher than that, because if you then take away the things that I've just mentioned, for example, you are left with potentially, and it's funny, I think it was Jamie from Upload, I don't think he's ever, luckily, had any mental health issues. So he's never had depression, for example. He possibly has not lost or he's very okay at dealing with maybe someone he's lost in the past. I don't know. Everyone's different. Everyone is affected differently by different things. And he openly said in his review, like, basically, whatever the message was, or whatever the feeling people are getting from this, he just didn't get it. He's not getting it. So he took the game for, in his mind, what he was getting, and I can see why this is so flippant reviewing, that it seemed a bit boring, a bit empty, and kind of a waste of time for some people. So that's the thing, isn't it?
You have to take it as I think even just looking at this, you have to take a view as to what are your emotional connections going to be on this one. If you don't connect to something emotionally in these terms, with visuals like this and a slower down walking pace and things like that, then you're not going to. It's not going to be one of those ones for you. It's a Marmite game.
Yeah.
It's a Marmite, Vegemite.
I think for me, like, again, I'm in the same boat as Jamie. Like, I've not suffered with depression. I've not had anything, any close relatives that have died, other than grandparents, which unfortunately they get to our old age and you kind of expect that almost. So there's no shock things that have happened to me in my life. So that's maybe is a massive part of it. But I think for me, when I haven't played the game throughout. I just did maybe like the first 2 hours or so. There was nothing that was gripping me and connecting me to the story, because it didn't seem to be anything to connect to. I get that it's kind of looking at isolation, but ultimately, like, if you say, I want to go somewhere and be alone with my thoughts, in real world terms, you might go into some woods or somewhere, and there's a lot of your senses are picking up your visuals, your smell, your hearing, all this sort of stuff, right? That they're helping you get into that place of peace or whatever, tranquility. In this, you have the headset on, so your visuals are locked into what the game is showing you. The sound, your headphones on, so it's what the sound is giving you. You've got no sense of smell because obviously you're not there. So all you've got is the visuals and the sound. And there was parts of this where visually it looked impressive because you've got these monolithic things. You're like, what's
it is, yeah, visually.
The sound is amazing.
Yeah.
But then there's really long moments of just walking with nothing to stimulate you at all. No hint of a story. So that's where I was a bit like, I'm really not sure what to make of this, because if I compare it to Zing, The Land Beyond, I fell in love with that game straight away. I connected to it. And a lot of that is just walking around, very similar to this in a way, looking at the visuals and listening to whatever music is playing.
See, that's where we're different, because this Zing, I was nearly asleep playing Zing. I think the thing is, I think I spoke to God Cannon about it. I actually fell asleep playing it. I was like, God, this is so boring.
I remember he was like, Zing's boring, isn't it? I was like, nah, man, I love Zing.
Yeah, but for me, this is 10 times better than Zing, because I think I felt what was going on in some of it. So.
I think I'd wonder with the PC release of Death Stranding coming, and that being a walking simulator or balance down the hill walking simulator, what that would be like in VR as well, where you could actually look around the landscapes, because the landscapes are supposed to be spectacular in that.
They are.
That would be, we could we could find out if that will work for a conversion tool in VR when it comes to PC. That might be something else.
Yeah.
As well as another one of the walking simulators. Is walking simulators the thing this year?
Yeah, I don't know. Robert Dodge says he lost his father recently, and to him he is still here, and he needs to be strong for his family. Sorry to hear that, Robert.
Yeah, sorry, man. Condolences.
Yeah, mate.
Definitely.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry. Stay strong. You know what I mean? It's all about that. But it's funny, this game. I think this game relies heavily on perception. So, like, when you think about, someone said PSVR out parole, which is Brian. He gave this a 9.2. I don't think it's a secret that he has struggled with mental health in the past, and maybe still does now and again. So, this may have spoken to him on a deeper plane, on a deeper level. And I'm assuming in his review, he would have actually said that as well. When he does his reviews, he would have pointed out why he... have you ever watched a review? It sounds weird. Have you ever watched a review where you feel like they're reviewing a game that it's like they played through another TV or another window? Like,
well, I think it comes down to...
Yeah.
It comes down to that own perception of it. It's a game that relies on you having a particular headspace that somebody else doesn't.
Yeah, so and that's why, like, for example, and I'm not saying to anyone, don't go and watch someone else other than Brian, but at the end of the day, when you watch his review, that was Brian's review. So you would have gone, oh, that's his review. What's he said about this game? What's he saying about this game? That's kind of what I tend to do when I look at reviews, unless, for example, when I meet a channel or a streamer or a reviewer, I resonate with them. I go, do you know what? I get everything he says. That is my man. We're similar. Do you know, if we met in the street, we'd easily get on. So that's kind of how I think people, why they follow channels, why they do what they do.
Absolutely.
With certain people. So yeah, for him giving it a 9.2, I'm assuming that this hit home massively for him. So
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Wonder how much of that, not specifically to Brian, but to anyone, was because the developer was very open and honest, and we've got like kind of game. Those of us that got game keys in the kind of press kit, so to speak, it mentioned about the developer, suffering with depression, and this was an outlet for him. I wonder if we didn't have that backstory and just went into this game fresh, just as a game, whether we'd have been affected the same way. Like, that's
interesting. That's interesting because at the end of the day, at no point in this game does he kind of ever touch on the reasoning. I don't remember seeing any particular... once you know the backstory, there's quotes in the game that make you obviously realise this is what this is about.
It's like Bound as well. Bound is another one of these games that either you connect to emotionally or you don't.
Is that the dancing one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not get that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I never knew about it either. I never knew there was an emotional issue with it or whatever. I just thought it's some girl dancing when I press jump.
Very, very, very much from the start, it was like, boom, yeah, okay, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, so I didn't get that.
And I think that, again, like I said, it's kind of like one of those things that you are either going to get it from what you feel emotionally or you're not, because it doesn't connect to you. If it doesn't connect to you, it's definitely not the game, one of those games for you. If you build that emotional connection to it, then it's going to be one of those games that really draws you in and makes you go, yeah, I like this, I get this on a different level.
Do you know what I think's really cool? Is that if, and when Brian did play it, and he gave it a 9 point whatever, and he got something out of that, that's amazing. Like, how do you put a price on that? Do you know what I mean? We've all played a game, haven't we, and come away and gone, I feel a bit different now. Like, I feel a bit of a different person for playing it or whatever else. Imagine if, Brian or anyone who maybe suffers with... the thing is, for me, it didn't hit me on that level. I understood the level and understood what was going on. And I think when I played it, I was enjoying it, definitely. But I didn't get that. I didn't get that too much. I understood there was a loss going on. There were some really great bits that are quite twisted. Like, did you get to the phone boxes?
Yes.
Did you get to the doctor's room?
No.
So there was bits in that. I was like, oh, that's cool. because that's like throwing reality at you suddenly.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I thought, yeah, that's cool. Like, this is surprising. A bit of a different level going on, and I liked that. That was good for me. So yeah, that's, you know, with what I've played of it so far, that's why I got to that 7. You know, if those, to be fair, if those certain moments of here's some reality for you, might have knocked it down a little bit. But at the end of the day, I'm really glad it's there, and I'm really glad it's out there in virtuality, and people can sit here and talk about it and say, what did you get out of this? You know, and as we said, the price. It's a reasonable price. It's of a price where people can experience it and not feel ripped off about it. So
yeah, and that's what I mean. That's why I was really curious to talk about it, because I didn't get anything out of it. I didn't connect to it in any way, and I was really curious to see, you know, like I said, saw some of those other reviews that were very, very high for a PSVR exclusive channel on a PSVR game that had a little bit of, you know, this could be a great game coming out.
Yeah.
And then I was looking back and I was thinking, what other games have affected me? Like Ghost Giant, I will openly admit, made me cry. And that's not because I've had any dealings with any sort of scenario like that as in that game, but I really connected with it.
Yeah.
That, you know, all throughout that made me cry with happiness, made me cry with sadness. I didn't expect that. That came out of complete left field. So I remember when I did like the first 2 levels of first impression videos, like, oh, this is nothing. And I played through the rest of the game and I was like, man, this hit me real hard. And it's one of the best PSVR games, I would say, for that reason, because it really resonated with me. And obviously it won't resonate with a lot of people, which is why this is really interesting game to kind of come out. But again, I was just curious whether it's down to that backstory, which immediately gives you a human connection to the developer. And this is his very personal project that it's almost like his personal journal that you're stepping into in a way. But it was, for me, it wasn't reflected in the gameplay that I played, which is only the first 2 hours, so it's not the full game. So it may have opened up and changed, but ultimately it's still a game that has been advertised as a game that you need to get something from.
Is it a game or an experience?
Well,
I've seen it more as an experience than over a game, personally. But
yeah,
it's interesting you see it as a game.
I think that's just the way it's going to portrayed. Maybe it's just the fact that it was, you know, this is 8 hours exploring vast, massive ruins and things like this, and monolithic. And there was moments in this, and I've fed back all this to the developer, and he's kind of said thank you for the feedback. He's going to respond to me in kind. That I think there's an amazing, monumentally amazing game within this that I think is just a bit hidden by a few things that just drag it out unnecessarily, from my perspective. But yeah. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, but
either way,
it's a really great one to talk about.
How amazing is it that instead of sinking into depression and not doing anything, which is very easy to do in depression, you can just literally struggle each day and go, why? What's the point? Things that make you happy don't make you happy, blah, 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 blah. That he's actually got creative and gone, he's made that. That's pretty, that in itself, as you said, it is interesting that you bring the other side of the coin of like, but hold on, you know the story behind the game. You know, what would you do? How do people receive this game if they go on the store and go, I've got 13 quid to burn, what am I going to pick up? Oh, I'll pick this up. You know? It's interesting to see how that goes. Great Tantrum says, lost my brother to cancer in summer 2017 and my grandmother in spring 2016. Sorry to hear that, Great Tantrum. I think we have spoken about that before, because that would have been around the time that I'd done my first charity live stream for cancer research, so I think that was one of those things, and he was there in those streams with me, which was pretty cool. So yeah, Boy Brown, great convo, lads. I think it's good to get together, get another perspective, and that's what it's all about. It's all about and being respectful of each other's perspectives as well. So yeah, and it's hard, isn't it, when you come across this kind of thing and you talk about it? It's like, it's deep. It brings it all. It can bring things home a little bit.
Rather deep to the end, for the ending of the show, really.
It is, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. So I can't jump in with the Arnie. Yes, you can.
Not on this convo. It's asking me to do an Arnie quote. I can't jump in with Arnie when we're on this such deep level. Talking about all this sort of stuff. I can't do that, man.
Arnie can get deep.
Arnie cannot get deep. He's very, very much about the action and, you know, getting to the chopper. You know, that's what he's about.
There's no emotion in getting to the chopper.
No, he just wants to come day and night. That's all he wants to do.
He wants to what?
Come day and night with ladies, with pumping.
Oh my
You
god!
feel the pump. That's all he wants to do. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
That is absolutely fantastic. We that is a very. When did you find out you've had that talent?
I wouldn't say it was a talent.
Well, it is.
I grew up in a
Dude,
house
you've named your whole
that was
bloody
constantly-
YouTube channel based
because
on
I
it.
love him, man. You love him.
Right.
I recognise he's a complete penis in many regards, but he's also a legend. And I grew up watching Arnie films.
Oh yeah,
Bruce
man.
Willis. Who's more
Everybody did.
quotable than Arnie? Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? He's just
Only Jackie
he's
Chan.
such a larger than life. Jackie Chan. Can you focus on Jackie Chan?
What? No, I just like Jackie Chan, so I had to throw him in.
He's not exactly a
I
quotable
mean,
guy.
Jackie Chan was really one of my big heroes growing up. So,
Aww.
but they
Who would win the fight? Who would win the fight? Arnie or Jackie
yeah, but
Chan?
Jackie Chan and Arnie have done a film together.
When
And
is it going to
apparently,
release?
Are they?
you know,
What, recently?
I need to know.
Yeah, but they're
It
not
was
the stars of
around
it.
no, they're not. They're not. They're not the stars of it. Around the World in 80 Days has both of them in.
Right.
That's not the one though. Anyway.
I don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
It's Pumpkins. Hello, mate.
Pumpkin
PP. GG, PP.
P.
We haven't seen Decepticon tonight.
This just says no keys going in.
We've got no free games.
He's there when it is.
We've got people going for IP Man over Jackie Chan.
Oh man. Yeah, so I grew up in that time as well, dude. Like Arnie was amazing, and funny enough, I still use a couple of his methods in the gym because he's done some great stuff back in the past.
This is what I'm not a gym head, but like his philosophy on so many things is inspirational if you want to go for it. I'm a lazy bum, like I don't take those things.
You like to feel like you're being inspired and then go,
yeah. I'm like, if I wanted to be inspired, he'd be the one to go for. Like, he was like a random nobody. He bunked.
I've got his book.
Army.
I have got his book. Yeah.
He bunked off the army to go to bodybuilding competitions, like his national service, and they was like, because you won, that's fair enough. Do you know what I mean? And then he was like, well, I'm going to America. I'm going to be a bodybuilder. He's like, I'm going to be a movie star. And then he was like, I'm going to be like in governance and be a governor and all that sort of stuff. Everything he said he was going to do, he just went out and did it.
Yeah.
Which in my mind is really inspirational for anyone. Just like if you looked at like what he could barely speak English, and then he's ended up being like a governor of a massive state in the US after a massive movie career.
Yeah.
It's all about communicating with an audience, and he's just like he's doing that constantly. And people are like, still awesome because look at his muscles.
That's it. Absolutely. I think the first film I saw him in was Terminator, the original.
Yeah, he's
Terminator.
brilliant in that.
Yeah, it was.
has no words.
The first Arnie film I saw was Conan the Barbarian.
Oh mate, is it when he
That's a great
punched that horse? I truly believe one day I could also punch a horse. Not that I want to punch a horse.
When
But-
a camel he punched.
Those bloody horses.
Was it a camel or a horse? I thought it was a horse.
It was a camel he punched in
He
Conan the
punched
Barbarian.
both a camel and a horse, depending on
Not at the same time. Not like.
dual wielding. He
What
went down to
happened?
the local zoo and went, "That's Avia."
Oh mate, but I'm pretty sure he punched the horse because I remember thinking like that horse's cheek. When you stroke one, you think that's actually probably quite a nice like shape to punch because it's nice and flat and round, and it might not hurt the horse too much, but you never know. But yeah,
Specially trained horse.
that is what. Yeah, it is. It knows when to fall down when
Yeah.
it gets punched. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't fake. He just smacked the horse.
Yeah, I thought he did. Yeah.
No, it's specially trained horse. It's actually they specially trained those
What are we
horses.
talking about?
The camel. I don't know about the camel.
I've not
but
heard
the
about the
horse
camel.
specially-
Smacked a
Yeah, he
camel,
punched
smacked
the
a camel.
camel because later in the film the camel spits on him.
Yeah.
He
That's him, Conan
apologises
the
to the camel and
Destroyer.
it spits on him.
I don't blame it. I
Like,
think
oh,
the
I
camel's
thought
well
I
within
did
his
this.
right to do that.
The best horse punch is somebody's put it in the chat is Blazing Saddles.
Crumb.
Mongo. Holy shit.
Mongo.
Here's Mongo.
I do remember Blake Sellers, but I don't remember him punching a horse.
Well, you don't remember Mongo hitting the horse?
I do remember Mungo the cat.
You can't put your cow there. Just walks up to the guy and cracks him.
I do.
Cracks
Is it?
the horse.
I do need to see that again because that's got the famous bean scene in it, hasn't it?
It does.
Does anyone remember that? Does anyone remember when I was doing my first 24-hour charity live stream, and I've been in VR for so long, I was like using eye drops and stuff that Miss GT got me, and I decided to play Red Dead Redemption, and in that I punched a horse. Yeah.
Was that in the 24-hour one? Because I saw that clip and that was wicked.
Yeah. I think it went.
You can do it. I didn't think you could do it in Skyrim VR, but apparently you can punch a horse in Skyrim VR.
It's good that people are testing this stuff out. Do you know what I mean? First thing you do.
VR's for.
It's what VR's for. It's what any game's for. You go in there. Can I punch this horse?
Can you punch a horse?
I'm not sure. You can punch a Skyrim VR. Buy it now. That's what he's saying. That's the quote on the box. That's how it goes, man. It's all there. But yeah. So, someone put on there the other day. So quickly, what is your favourite 80s action film? And I want to say 80s. Go 80s, 90s because I might be a bit off here on my dates. So what is your favourites?
Predator.
Predator. Really?
Perfect film.
Perfect.
Closely followed by Aliens.
Okay. All right. Terminator 2.
I'd say that comes more into sci-fi and thriller, doesn't it?
Yeah, it don't matter. Oh, okay. So
we're talking genres here.
Action.
I mean, for me, do you know what? Terminator 2 is a fantastic one, but I think Demolition Man was one of my all-time favourites. I watched that a lot.
Best action film, Die Hard.
What, the first one?
Yep.
But that's a Christmas movie.
It's still an action movie, you
We're
fool.
talking Christmas movies. Jingle All the Way is in the mix. It's turbo time. I'm just going to put it on.
Let's put it on, mate. Just have it on from beginning to end next time.
I was
slanted now. There we go.
Never-ending story.
Yeah.
Never-ending story. I was thinking more like Super Cop or
Super Cop. What's Super Cop?
Super Cop. What?
Super Cop.
That's an old Jackie Chan film.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember that.
That's
You
definitely
can't beat
not
Jackie
the
Chan
film.
for action. I mean, sorry.
Do you know what is
The
it?
story's a lot better than Super Cop, man.
If you can't quote it, it's not allowed.
Do you know what's really good? What was really good? Is Cannonball Run. That was fantastic. Cannonball Run. That has got everything.
We are going to be here forever. We can turn into a film critic.
So what we got? We got True Lies. True Lies is very good. Terminator 2. Big Trouble in Little
2,
China.
There we go.
That's a great
Nice.
film.
And
IP
Anne has
Man
put in
series.
the Rolo ad. What is in the chocolate? Is that what you're talking about?
When someone smacks a horse or something.
I don't think. What did someone punch a
An
horse?
animal-
For the last
someone-
Rolo?
An animal tapped the person. Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, I must have missed that. Dude, you can't put the Arnie mask on and not talk like Arnie constantly.
Sorry, I would do it now.
Shame, man.
Predator Alien, RoboCop, dude. I jumped into my retro arcade the other day and I played RoboCop. It was wicked. And I took down Ecto-09. That's fantastic.
Somebody put weird science. Well, they put wired science, but they meant weird science. The
That's
only
nothing
sex
actual.
comedy,
yeah.
no nudity.
Where the muscles.
She was gorgeous.
Yeah, but there's no nudity. That sort of thing that was let down. Everybody watched Weird Science because it was like we're going to see Kelly Brook naked or topless or anything, and you got nothing. Even in the shower, you didn't see anything.
No.
And the kids
Well, they were wearing their jeans, weren't they?
Yeah.
The only bit is the girl who gets sucked up through the chimney.
Who gets
On his
sucked off.
hockey says Blind Fury.
No, Dane.
I love Blind Fury.
No, Dane. No.
Boys.
Arnie.
Lost Boys.
Sorry.
Lost Boys is great.
Camping.
No one.
Strange
The
places.
cumping and the coming. It's too much. Top Gun. Skeever said he fell in love with Sandra Bullock in Demolition Man. Nice. I was gutted. Do you remember that film? Well, I don't know the 100% name of it. Was it Mannequin or something? Was that a film where
Yes, I know this.
Yeah, with Kim Cattrall, yeah.
Yeah.
she was in Sex and the City, weren't she?
Yes, she was.
I
Yeah.
was gutted because I really fancied her in that other thing. When I saw her in Sex and the City, I didn't fancy her.
Her
So.
best role
She
is
was like
Porky's.
40-something then, or maybe 50-something. She was
Her-
a lot
her-
more
her-
older.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Her best role was in
Last
Porky's
action
Lassie.
hero.
Her best role was in Big Trouble in Little China.
Hams,
Of course.
Yes, Ham's got it right. When you said Kelly Brook, I was like, Kelly Brook wording that. It's Kelly LeBrock.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, that's all right. Cool. Thank you for doing that because yeah, she was lovely. Hercules
Isn't
goes
she
for
lovely? Isn't she beautiful?
Smokey and the Bandit. That was wicked.
Ow! Ow!
What you
Second
done?
one was
What'd you
better.
do?
Oh,
He's
ow,
down.
I just hit my head on the wardrobe, on the corner of the wardrobe. Oh,
That's
damn,
clever.
man. That hurt, that hurt. It's all Chopper's fault on being far too funny.
No.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, Ham, what's happening here? That is a good point. Right, okay, so
What is happening here? It's all going crazy.
unless anyone in the
Right,
chat
well.
wants, do you guys, because you do direct the show pretty much, is there anything you would like us to speak about before we go? Because we've hit the 3 hour mark, coming up to the 3 hour mark now.
Holy shit.
It's still, Fifth Element was fantastic. Another great film. Everyone's on it. Oh no.
Need to do a movie podcast, obviously.
A movie podcast, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
Any news on Population 1? No. And I tell you, I've been trying to get on those guys' attention because I want to get in that beta because I really, really want to play it. So the only other game I play is a VR Battle Royale game is Standout. And there's Virtual Battlegrounds, not that great, but Standout is actually quite good fun. I might stream that at some point again because I really did enjoy that.
well, that and D-Day.
D-Day? What's
Yeah,
D-Day?
On Duty
That's
D-Day.
just
Battle
strange.
Royale mode.
Oh yeah, man! I haven't played that for bloody ages. Yeah, I forgot all
What
about it.
batch are you talking about?
I literally forgot all about that. Yeah.
Hey, South Memphis, thank you.
Hold on a minute. I thought we took that mode out of it. I thought we
Battle
took.
Royale mode, I think it's.
Yeah. Oh, I thought we took it out. I thought.
No,
I'm sure. I thought we took that bloody mode out of it for some reason. Don't know
I
why.
don't think so. No.
South Memphis, thank you ever so much for that donation, dude. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate
May
it.
your
Thank you.
pumping be great, South Memphis.
What else we got? Call from the 70s. So many good movies. Can we have a VR news jingle, please? Yes. Let me try and find it quickly. I do apologise about this, guys. We need the jingle. We need the jingle. Where the hell is the jingle?
GT just
the
wouldn't
jingle
feel the
now.
same without the jingle.
No, you do need the bloody jingle. I just need to find it.
Ah,
Where is it? We've got
you should know. You should always know where your jingle is.
Well, I don't.
Man.
I've got so many different folders. Right. Okay. I've got it. Hopefully, it'll be okay. It was a little bit pissed up, but it got there. It was a little bit too much to the right, and it was there. So.
Okay, the jingle's done. The news is done.
Yeah, I forgot to play at the beginning.
I think we are all probably done.
Yes, we are. Thank you, guys. Thank you ever so much for being here. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the donations. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you to Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to Salsa from Salsa Ketchup VR. Thank you to Dane from Get to the Jopper VR, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think.
Thanks. Sorry, I didn't know you was waiting for a response from me. Sorry.
Yeah, mate. Well, yeah, it's, that was
Thanks,
part of
guys. Thank everybody for watching. You're great.
Yeah, you are.
Donations.
Thank
You
you,
got
Cole.
those yards coming in right at the last minute. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh man, yeah, it's cool. Thank you. Really, look, without you guys being here, it wouldn't be what it is, and pretty much the same fantastic people are coming in each and every week. And
Between Realities, I think, is a new one.
Oh my God! Thank you. Great job, guys.
For the
Appreciate
$2, thank you very much.
oh, thank you very
Nice,
much.
another
And Cold
5
Joggert. Cheers,
kilogram
dude. It's a
dumbbell
separation.
plate.
Nice. Between Realities. Thank you very much. Cheers, man. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Right. Have a fantastic evening, everyone. Please be sure to follow these guys. I will put their links to their channels in the description as soon as we're done. And yeah.
Sorry. It was Dane with the...
What's he doing? The Swans?
The
Yeah,
swans.
yeah.
He's doing his
Carry on,
Swans.
GT. Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt.
No, it's good, man. It's good. Take care of yourselves, guys. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.